At the Imperial Square, a girl was being prepared for sacrifice. She was needed by the Black Dragon. Mason asks the king not to worry because the dragon has already reached the gate. Everyone was scared when the Black Dragon flew over their heads. He grabbed the girl and carried her away. Mason asks to quickly attack him. The dragon was wounded and flew into a cave where he could rest. Suddenly he felt like someone had spilled water on his electrical wiring. He was shocked when he saw the claws and heard the sounds it made. It was unexpected for him that he was reborn as a dragon. He didn't like it. Suddenly he heard a girl. She was unconscious but safe. The dragon was calm because she was not hurt. He thought about what to do next. Several systems approached him, too many for one dragon. Now he thinks that he has been gifted by heaven, and the integration of the current system has now begun. The dragon wants to understand how he should use this system. He has the favor of the female gender, which allows him to activate special abilities. With the help of system points, which are received when killing players, you can restore your body and its individual parts. He didn't immediately realize that he was in the universe of some game. Steven was unhappy with himself. He needed to wake up. The girl made sounds. It was clear that she was cold. The system reported that a rare character was detected. Steven needs to check the girl. He only has 2 days to gain abilities at level 1. He found a bear skin, thanks to which the girl would definitely not be cold. The dragon immediately increased Ava's sympathy after improving her condition. Steven begs the system to give him a gift for the newbie, because he can't do anything on his own. As a result, he received a healing card, after using which he can lose consciousness. The dragon decided to use it because without him the girl would definitely not be able to save herself. He decided to find food so that in half an hour he could have a snack and not die of hunger. Lunar wolves came out to meet him. They are defending their territory. Steven felt a little nervous, but he decided to ignore it. He needed to show the wolves his strength. Wolves can do nothing against such a strong dragon. Ava heard a dragon appear in the cave, and she was incredibly scared. The dragon thinks that the girl is sick. He wants to feed her, but does not know how. At the right moment, Ava decided to attack the dragon. She will defend herself. Steven wasn't surprised. He quickly fed her. Ava couldn't hit him. The girl continues to think that this dragon wants to eat her. From Ava's side, the dragon looked terrible. It was impossible to believe in his good side. The dragon scared Ava to death, and she lost consciousness again. Steven turned to the system for help. He wants to know what is happening to the girl. A system store was opened for him. He wants to find some medicine. He chose a flower that his grandfather said would help him heal. Now he needs to figure out how to use it. He has no other choice. Steven bit into the flower to give the girl its juice to drink. At this moment, the card's effect ended, and the dragon lost consciousness. The girl was hot. She was on the edge. She urgently needed water. Ava saw the dragon flying towards her. She could do nothing against it. She woke up next to the dragon, who protected her and sheltered her from the rain. The girl felt the bitter taste of the medicine and felt better. Ava saw the fruits that were collected for her. She wanted to wake up the dragon. She is worried that she killed him with a knife. She wants the dragon to get up. Steven came to his senses. He was madly hungry, even though he had been doing it recently. The dragon is defeated and has awakened entry-level absorption abilities. He needs to eat something. Every cell in his body is screaming for it. He looked at the girl and imagined what a gorgeous dish she would make. Steven realizes that he can't do this, and besides, her sympathy has grown. He tries to understand how it happened when suddenly he imagined a picture. Ava was enchanted by him. The girl could not tear herself away from him. In fact, she was ill. She had practically no health left. He is worried that the girl has contracted an illness after she saved him. The dragon found nothing suitable in the store except clothes for the elf. Steven decided to take advantage of the moment and change the girl into fresh clothes. Next, he wants to find abilities that will change his body. He found a modification to the eye that he immediately wanted to use. The system informed him that there might be some discomfort during the change. Steven felt a sharp pain. His eyes seemed to be burning. After that, he examined the condition of the girl, who is a low elf. He doesn't understand how she's still alive with such wounds. Suddenly, people appeared in the cave. They were looking for the dragon to kill it. Since mercenaries came for him, he asked the system to strengthen his claws and fangs. The dragon has become stronger. He needs to quickly attack the enemies. The knights watched as the dragon flew away from them. They would not let him out of sight. Walter asks everyone to prepare for battle. They must be careful. Selena watched the dragon and noticed that his behavior had changed. She asked everyone to stop because their plan could fall apart. Walter doesn't want to listen to her. He's sure that without her, they would have done it faster. Selena was hurt to hear this. She wants to understand the dragon's decisions. It seems to her that the dragon is flying in the opposite direction from its treasure. Steven expected the mercenaries to follow him. He quickly dealt with them all. Walter is not going to retreat. He wants to kill the dragon with his own sword. He is shocked because he was unable to damage the dragon. He needs to think of something. Steven felt his back itch. It was funny. The dragon had no intention of answering the knight's questions and quickly cut off his head. Everyone scattered because their leader had been killed. Steven isn't going to let them go. He needs to earn points. In his opinion, he received few points, and suddenly he remembered about the witch. Selena wanted to help the elf. She used a spell to restore health. When the dragon appeared in the cave, the girl began to defend herself, but she no longer had the strength. The dragon was not prepared for such a turn of events. He spent his strength too quickly. He doesn't understand what the witch is going to do to him. The unknown frightens him. Steven got tired of putting up with this. He broke the network that the witch believed in. The dragon demands that the girl tell him about her position in this battle. He didn't hear the answer because it couldn't be understood. He needed to modify his voice. It seems like the system wants to rob him because his desire is expensive. He has no choice because he needs to communicate with people. After modification, he repeated his question, and now people understand it. Selena is shocked that the dragon can talk. She is scared. She had to say that the king had hired a mercenary squad to kill the dragon for the sake of the prince's health. The girl was in pain because Steven lost his temper and control. The king was angry. His men did not find the dragon. They were of no use. The knight is sure that the dragon has little strength, but because of the tracking seal, they cannot cope. The king is shocked that Master Mason wants even more money and is ready to break off their relationship. Selena watched as the dragon rummaged through her things. She was unable to resist him. Steven found various potions that will help him improve his health. He realized that the witch could heal, but she was not going to help him. Selena didn't expect the dragon to let her go. He urgently needed her magic. He asks her to cure the girl because he can't do anything. Selena is amazed that the dragon has no idea that it is not a princess lying before him. Steven can't say he just wants to save a rare character. The girl was surprised by the dragon's desire to save his best friend. Thanks to this conversation, Steven acquired another character in the form of a witch. He was glad he hadn't gotten rid of her. Now he needed to raise her sympathy. Selena noted the elf's serious wounds. One potion would not be enough here. Steven thought the girl was a healer, but she had not studied healing magic. Ava came to her senses and thanked the dragon for help she did not deserve. Steven is shocked that she can speak in such a serious condition. Selena was scared when the dragon ate the girl, although she was talking about something completely different. The dragon did this to get rid of the heavy chain. He needs to find a new lair. He grabbed the girls, and together they will find a new safe place. Ava agreed with the dragon in everything. Her sympathy grew. It was as if they all lived for this moment. The heroes were able to have a tasty snack. In the forest, they were not heroes. The dogs moved forward. They felt someone's presence. The leader of the pack was happy to see a real dragon. He can't tear himself away from him. He wants to become a part of the dragon family. His pack is ready to do anything for him. Steven doesn't understand why he needs such a weak family. There is no benefit in it. The leader promises to do a variety of work for the well-being of the dragon. Steven will look into their intentions. But for now, he needs a new cave. The leader led the dragon to his place of residence, which would be the beginning of the dragon's domain. From this day on, the dragon promises to protect and guard his new family. He wonders if Archie will become his new brother. He had been waiting for this moment his whole life. His happiness knew no bounds. Only now did Steven notice that there were few dogs in the pack. Archie asks to decide their fate. They cannot cope on their own. Their tribe was attacked by spiders and their lands were plundered. He took the survivors with him, and they all settled in this cave. Steven perked up when he heard about the mines. He already imagined himself rich. Archie said that these enemies can suck out brains. The number of spiders is unknown. The dragon decided to look in the system for detailed information about these spiders. Information was sometimes unavailable, so he was offered to buy an encyclopedia about monsters. The purchase was made, but he didn't like that it was so expensive. He was upset about the lost points. Ava began to worry about him. Steven understands that he can't cope alone. He needs fire breath. The dragon decided to find out from Archie where the bandits and mercenaries were. He asked to gather half of the warriors and follow him, as he needed to collect points. At his request, the girls must remain in the cave. Ava asks him to return quickly. The dragon warns Selena that she must not run away. The captain has returned to the fortress. He wants to celebrate his return with a huge booty. The bandits were happy. They robbed a lot today. They watched the gifts. The bandits think that now they can rest. The captain was told that a black dragon was flying towards them, but he did not believe it. The dragon looked terrifying and immediately destroyed several buildings. He watched as the dragon destroyed the entire fortress. The bandits ran away from him. The captain can't do anything. He's in excruciating pain. It was an easy victory. The dogs congratulate their owner on it. Archie reported that there were many boxes of looted treasure in the fortress. Among all the items, the dragon found a transformation potion. He imagined the girls' reaction when they saw him in human form. Without thinking twice about the consequences, Steven used the potion. He wants to change. It was a surprise for everyone to see his new appearance. Archie couldn't say a word. He was ashamed of his appearance. The system warns that clothes will appear soon. Steven couldn't take his eyes off his new appearance. He admired himself. Archie reported that all the boxes were loaded. They could leave this fortress. In the form of a dragon, he decided to return to the lair during the potion's effect. He can change his appearance several times. Selena thinks she won't have a better chance of escaping, but Ava stops her. But the girl doesn't know where to go, because she couldn't complete the task. Ava wasn't afraid of the dragon that kidnapped her. She enjoyed her time with the puppies. The witch is shocked because the girl called the dragon affectionate. Selena is surprised that the dragon returned from his raid so quickly. When Steven walked into the lair, he got hit on the head by Selena. The girl could barely stand on her feet. She told about Ava's kidnapping. Now the witch calls herself useless. She feels like she's ruining everything. Steven calms her down. He admits his guilt that he could not protect them. He increased the girl's sympathy, thanks to which he regained some of his abilities. He felt sick for a while, but he's fine, and there's no need to worry about him. The dragon asks Archie to lead him to the spider's nest he needs to deal with Ava's kidnapper. Steven asks to speed up. They don't have time. Everyone is looking for them. Suddenly he himself fell into a trap. The dragon cannot move. He had to use his fire breath to get out of the web. He found the leader of the spiders to find out where they had taken the elf. Steven changed his appearance so that Ava could see his beauty at that moment. The girl felt bad, but she immediately recognized him as a dragon. She was grateful for the rescue. Ava liked his appearance. Steven admitted that the girl was important to him, so he couldn't leave her. Ava became his friend, so the dragon was able to develop new abilities. He got a lot of points. It is beneficial for him to communicate with the girl. The elf recognized the dragon at first sight. She didn't care what he looked like. After returning home, Steven poured potions into the girl to restore her health. Selena was unhappy with this waste of potions, but he didn't pay attention to her words. Steven thinks that among the trophies there are some fruits to sweeten the medicine. In one of the boxes he found a girl. Such a find amazed everyone. Selena doesn't want Ava to see this. She protects her as best she can. Steven doesn't understand what the girls are doing in the end, but he caught their eyes on the stranger. The girl started screaming. The bandits treated her disgustingly. Selena offered to help her. Now she is safe. Archie said that he had fulfilled the master's wish and had moved all the boxes. Steven had no idea what was inside. He couldn't calm down. He received notification both about the start of the game and about the arrival of the Chosen One in the village of newcomers. The guy learned from the system that he needed to eliminate the players. Steven had never heard of countries releasing such realistic games. The guy found out that after each death, the resurrection time of players will increase. He doesn't think it will be difficult because he is a dragon himself. Steven is disappointed that the NPC will not be able to be resurrected. He doesn't understand why people should risk their lives in this game. Ava thinks the dragon is worried about the bandits, but that's not what he's thinking about. Steven was surprised when he saw the new outfit on the elf. Her clothes were worn out. He decided not to get rid of the stranger. She could be useful. The dragon decided to increase the girl's sympathy with the help of new clothes. In this world, only he understands that it is all a game, and so the dragon can resist everyone. Steven will use all the information he receives. He will not have any rest. He asked Archie to tell him about the power of the monsters that surrounded them. The dragon argues that it is necessary to kill players instead of ordinary villagers in order to gain experience. It's an unequal fight for resources, with both sides forcing players and residents to fight to the death. He learned that during training, stats also increase. Steven called Hugh over and decided to give him a good workout. Hugh suffered, but he did everything his master wanted him to do. He liked the result because the characteristics increased. The girls changed their clothes. They want to impress their master. Steven received a map of the location of tribes that have their own leaders. He asked Archie to gather all the dogs. All the weapons must be brought. In the Silver Forest, the dragon asks all the animals to calm down. He is not going to eat them. He learned that this world was on the brink of a crisis, so everyone needed to unite. The animals agreed with the dragon. They are all one family that must be protected. Now Steven understands that he can be perceived as the main character. The hare wants to know how they can resist the enemies, because they have no strength. The dragon informed everyone that they would have to undergo hellish training. He is confident that victory in the game will be on his side. On the aquamarine planet, the game of this world's team began. The bodies of people undergo a transformation. They were chosen as players. The rules of the game were quickly explained to everyone. The most important thing being that death in the game was equal to real death. In the forest, the dragon was informed that the animals living nearby would also enter service. Steven received a notification about the creation of rules for a new world. The territory of newcomers will be limited, and if non-player players enter it, they will be teleported. The dragon was frightened by the chest that appeared in this world. It needs to be protected. He can only get the reward if the player opens this chest. He was angry that he couldn't be human, and he had to protect these chests. He asked his animals to bring all the chests they found in the forest. At his request, Archie must collect all the bombs and traps they made. The system informed him that the world map had changed after the players arrived. After updating it, he realized that players would have a whole week to train. He knows that the problem with newcomers is their curiosity. Archie showed a large number of chests that were found in the forest. Steven asked to place traps in these chests, then they would need to be hidden. The dragon admits that he wants to make a gift for his friends. He will not allow anyone to force him to do something against his will. Daniel was building his own house, and he's very good at it. He looked through the options, but he couldn't find the exit button. The guy is shocked to realize that this world has been turned into a real game. In the lair, Selena continued to practice magic. She is angry. Heather is glad that she will no longer see the man who sold her to the bandits. If she sees him, she will definitely kill him with her own hands. Steven noted to himself that such fragile girls always radiated a threat. Ava, in his opinion, would not be so dangerous. The dragon continued to heal her. Archie reported that the players had gone beyond their territory. The dragon is glad that no one can resist the temptation to explore this world. The players were bored in their village. They want to find a couple of monsters in the forest to gain experience. Mike reminded them that they shouldn't leave the village. It was dangerous. Andy was irritated by this conversation and regretted taking this boy with him. Tony suggested using Mike's bones as bait. They were happy when they found the treasure chest. When the chest was opened, the players were attacked by monsters and were trapped. Andy had a hard time dealing with the enemies, and he didn't notice how his partners escaped. Mike hid. He was scared. He wants to find friends. The dragon quickly found Andy and showed himself in all his glory. Steven was surprised that the player died of fear. He was weak. Archie found Mike trembling with fear. He must take him to his owner. Steven wants to know who entered his territory. Mike said he was just traveling. The dragon asks not to lie to him because the players must be careful. Mike was just passing by. He didn't want to disturb anyone's peace. In that case, Steven asked him to use one potion so that he could escape. The player has hope. He can buy a speed-up potion. Archie told his owner how quickly Mike had escaped from them. Steven allowed this to happen. He gives the players time to get stronger. Tony called himself a loser until he found a new chest. The player needs to find the key to the chest. He thinks that it can fall from the monsters. He found the rabbit. Tony is confident that he can easily defeat it and get the key. The rabbit turned out to be not so simple. No one will be able to steal his chest. Tony was humiliated by a rabbit who turned out to be incredibly strong. The beast ordered him to open the chest. Perhaps after that he would be released. There was a bomb inside. Unfortunately, Tony has no chance of survival. The girl can't stop admiring her dream house. She completed her task. Mike returned to the village. He told everyone about the dragon. They needed to escape. They didn't believe him. Daniel suggests building another tower for protection. Selena and Heather were not in the mood. There was a tense atmosphere in the air. Ava explained that Selena can't do magic and Heather just wants to deal with someone. Steven is scared by Heather's desire to kill someone. He wants to believe that it is a joke. Archie brought all the chests, which contained many interesting things. The dragon couldn't believe his eyes when he saw the drawing of the flamethrower tower. Unfortunately, he can't use it. The dragon hopes that there are conditions for its use. Selena's attention was drawn to a book of water spells. She asked her master to give her this book. The girl wants to study it. Selena was grateful. Because of the book, her sympathy grew. It turned out that the card could only be used on the street, which surprised Steven. The dragon must supply the workers with materials to build the tower. Archie swore with his life to follow his master, and he climbed this mountain with difficulty. Steven asked for new workers to be brought to him, but suddenly Archie fell. Archie needs a good rest, so the dragon decided to give him a day off. In the den, the girls were resting, each muttering in her sleep. Ava had a nightmare. She talked about her parents and demons. The dragon knows that the demons have been destroyed, so the girl cannot know them. Little Ava saw her parents fall in battle with demons. The older sister tried to save her. She won't let her scream. The girl locked her in the closet, hoping that the demons would not find her sister. The sister covered the baby with herself. She sacrificed her life to save Ava. The girl was broken. She would not allow the demons to harm her. The dragon noticed that after a few days the elf's health had increased. Unfortunately, there are no signs of recovery. Steven is worried. Suddenly Ava woke up, but it wasn't her. The girl rushed towards the dragon. Steven was not prepared for such a strong blow. The elf hit him hard. Selena and Heather were unhappy that they were woken up and immediately began to blame the dragon. He couldn't hold back his tears, and with a lump in his throat he reported that Ava was missing. While flying over the forest, the team saw Ava attacking a monster. When the girl saw the dragon, she lost consciousness and began to fall into the monster's mouth. Steven quickly attacked the crocodile, at which point the girls tried to catch Ava. After landing, the monster attacked from ambush, but Steven parried the blow. The dragon will not be able to use its abilities against a crocodile with thick skin. He had to take out a loan to modify his abilities. He doesn't have enough points. During the modification, a sharp pain arose, and the dragon regretted doing it. Selena tries to shout to the dragon. She wants to believe that he is still alive. She suddenly thought that this was the perfect moment to escape. The dragon did not give up. The crocodile had no chance to win. With his enhanced abilities, Steven easily tore the monster apart. After the battle, a delicious dinner awaited everyone. The fried crocodile was delicious. Everything was great. The team couldn't get up after such a meal. The dragon thinks that Ava might return when the evil spirit grabs the core. The elf is seriously ill and has only 1 day left to live. Steven hoped that the system knew about Ava's illness, but it didn't. We need to find out why Ava lost her temper. She had destructive power. Unfortunately, Selena cannot tell where a good healer is. Heather told me about one healer in the kingdom, but they can kill the dragon there. Luckily, Steven still has some transformation potions, so he shouldn't have any problems. The girl is sure that all men are selfish. Their appearance does not change anything. When problems arose, she was abandoned again and the girl was upset. Heather was grieving. She didn't expect that the dragon wouldn't want to leave her. Steven didn't like that he got low marks for the girl. He doesn't believe that in this world he still has to pay off a loan. Finally, the dragon has arrived to the kingdom, and Ava's life is coming to an end. Everyone admired Nightblade. They say that he dealt with the gang single-handedly. Steven didn't like that all his achievements were stolen. The knight is lucky that our hero is busy. Otherwise, he would have lost his head. Heather told about a healer named Rob. She described his hut. Steven is scared. He can't find a doctor. Ava's life depends on him. The guy knocked down the door and saw the doctor's apprentice. She asked him to pay for the door. Grace asks to explain why someone would need the help of a doctor. According to her, the doctor went on a journey because he could not cure the prince. The girl was delighted when she saw the elf. She couldn't leave her alone. Grace has a little experience. She realized that the elf would soon die. Steven was amazed that Grace was a doctor, but she could only examine the victim. The guy said that Ava recently went crazy and then lost consciousness. After examining Ava, the hero realized how low the level of medicine is. Grace found the reason. She explained that the elf was cursed. The girl said that the curse is very powerful. It takes away all strength. Steven guessed that Ava would eventually go crazy and lose all her health. Grace can only stabilize Ava temporarily, but not for long. The girl knows that the curse can be lifted by killing the one who cast it. According to her, you can exchange a cursed heart for a new one. Steven was scared that the girl knew his true face. He tries to hide it by saying that the dragon's heart will be hard to find. The girl remembered about the elven source, which could delay the effect of the curse. You can also go to the Winter Empire. The best healer is there. Grace didn't forget to tell about witches, who always have ways of healing. They're just hard to find. Grace knows where they were last seen. Steven asks to treat Ava. Then they will think about what to do next. The hero is worried. It seems that the girl will be doing all this for the first time. Grace started the process. She sincerely wanted to help the elf. Ava came to her senses and wanted to know where she was. Steven said that they came to the kingdom when the elf became ill. Grace was not mistaken. She knew that Steven was the dragon that was being hunted. She promises not to tell about him. Grace simply treats everyone in need. Now the girl is studying the healing of the body. She knows that the heart can be transplanted without magic. Steven compared her to a modern surgeon. She was crazy. The hero tried to calm her down. He pretended to prepare Ava for the operation. As Grace began preparing, Steven and Ava ran away. The guy continues to inquire about the elf's condition. She looked unwell. Ava wants to believe that her disease is curable. She doesn't want to die. Steven swears to her on his name that he will definitely help her. The elf was amazed that her master had taken an oath. She was touched. She asked him not to sacrifice himself for her life. The master should not suffer. A rare character has been discovered that can communicate with our dragon. In the sanctuary, the girl asks the goddess to hear her prayers. She wants to see a miracle. Steven wanted to answer the call, but he had more important things to do. He noted the dog-headed people's talent for building towers. Soon they would build all the buildings. To test the tower's power, the hero asked Archie to shoot at a rock. The dragon is shocked because one slow arrow destroyed the rock. It seems to him that the effect of the tower will depend on the builder. He asked Archie to bring the animals. Steven wants to conduct an experiment. The rabbits, at his request, must test the tower, which will cause changes. The dragon likes this and agrees to continue this experiment. Now he knows that defending the cave with towers won't be a problem. It looks like he needs to go to the mountains to find cores, with which he can increase the tower's level. Steven was wondering what to do next when Ava suddenly reported about the girls fighting. He immediately imagined them asking him for protection from each other. Ava tries to bring him down to earth. He has to stop the girls so that no one gets hurt. Steven forgot that girls can do magic. His lair can be destroyed. He turned into a dragon to separate the girls. They could not calm down. Ava revealed that it all started because of a spell book that Selena was working with. The dragon asks the girls to listen to him carefully. They should not fight over trifles. He doesn't want them to use magic. He says it's better to fight hand to hand. Selena couldn't stop herself. She took out her anger on the unfortunate tree. Steven has already lost his temper and insistently asks her to stop. He doesn't want the witch to fight at night and disturb everyone's sleep. Selena can't shake the feeling that she's incapable of anything. Steven advises her to find her own path, since she can't do like everyone else. He suggested that she take up black magic. The girl is different from ordinary people. Selena is grateful for the dragon's company. In the Silver Forest, the girls found rabbits. They think to eat them. One of them is sure that the rabbits will not be able to deal with the harpies in any case. Hannah also remembered the rumors about the dragon. She warned everyone about the danger. With full confidence in victory, the harpies rushed at the rabbits. These rabbits were not so simple, no one could cope with them. They called for help. The girls realized that they had to run away. The harpies were trapped and had no way to escape. Steven wants to know why they wanted to attack his relatives. Hannah explains that the harpies just want to eat, and the enemies took their food and cave. So the dragon learned that there was also a village of newcomers on the other side. The harpy begs the dragon to help them reclaim their home and restore their tribe. Steven felt awkward when the head of the harpies promised a whole ram as thanks. The dragon appreciated the harpies. They had well-developed strength. Their skills would help in battle. He answered the prayer and declared Hannah and her tribe to be his relatives. Ava confessed that she and the other girls were going to go into the forest with their master. Steven reminded that he was going to fight. He didn't need girls there. The elf just wants to spend the rest of her time with the dragon. The girls are not going to back down. It seems the dragon simply has no choice. He ordered his relatives to set traps for uninvited guests during his absence. He flew into the harpy's cave, which smelled of blood. Steven forbade Ava to go further. He left her with the harpies who would protect her. The dragon was amazed that there were strong monsters here. There were too many of them for him. He couldn't escape. All the monsters rushed at him. Thanks to the deaths of these monsters, the dragon received the necessary cores. It seemed that all the monsters were dead, but one managed to survive. Steven realizes that this monster will be difficult for him to defeat. The enemy was fast and successfully struck the dragon's body. The monster was about to tear the dragon's wings. Steven was not prepared for this and lost his balance. The dragon used famous attacks in different styles of martial arts. Ava asks Hannah to go to the master's side. They want to help. Steven was unconscious. The elf immediately noticed the blood. She was scared for him. He quickly got to his feet and showed that he was okay. Ava couldn't calm down because of the sight of blood. The dragon notes that he just needs to eat, and Ava begins to believe these words. For defeating the mutated monster, Steven received a black core. This was not the end. The monster decided to take Ava as a prisoner. The dragon would not allow him to harm the girl. He quickly attacked him. The enemy was destroyed, so the elf went into free fall. Ava landed in a swamp, which saved her life. The water was pleasant. The girl wished the master were here. Suddenly, the keeper of the great source appeared. She sees that Ava's power is limited. The girl saw her sister in her. She couldn't believe that she was alive. In fact, the keeper simply took on this appearance because of the girl's memories. Ava must forget all her suffering. She found herself at the bottom with a lot of treasure. After some time, Steven found the elf. He believed that everything was fine with her. The system showed that Ava had gained power. Her abilities were incredible. The dragon wants to know what happened that the girl changed so much. His head turned off when the girl told him about meeting her sister. Ava was pleased that the dragon was so worried about her. Steven did not deny it. Due to the increase in sympathy, the dragon received a lot of points, which went to the loan. He was unhappy. He tried to negotiate with the system, but it was not going to break the rules. The dragon understands that his very existence contradicts all the rules. Steven points out to the system that it can bypass all the rules of the game itself. He invites her to have some fun and bend the rules a little. As a result, the system decided to change the debt. The dragon wants an explanation. He liked this arrangement. Now he had an installment plan. Steven was pleased with himself. Ava couldn't take her eyes off all the treasures. Unfortunately, there were only bones inside. It was scary. The elf was much luckier there were spell books in her chests. She didn't hear the dragon's warning, but eventually Steven asked her to continue. The dragon feels like Ava is the main character in the story because she is too lucky. The girl found an amazing core. Ava was delighted. Steven must remain calm. He gave his life to get these heart patients. He doesn't want to hear anything about the rules because there are already so many weird things in the game. The system asks him to stop guessing. The dragon must believe in himself. Hannah thanked the owner for his help, and her fellow tribesmen were saved. Steven asks the harpy to move on. He will soon leave with Ava. Mike can't calm down. He wants everyone to believe in the dragon. The other players didn't even see rabbits in the forest. They are sure that he was simply scared of the tree. The guy explains to him that the players did not return because of the treasure, not because of the dragon. Daniel is tired of listening to this and suggests searching the forest. Mike won't try to convince them anymore. He'll watch them die in the woods. Steven was studying the ability of absorption, with which he could become stronger. He decided to try to swallow the stone instead of the ore, but it tasted disgusting. As a result, his body may become petrified, and he should not eat everything. The dragon decided to experiment. He absorbed many objects. He consumed the meat of a black dragon, which could very well be his relative. During his experiments, he realized that only gold and silver did not produce a negative effect. When the opportunity arises, Steven will wander around the kingdom in search of treasure. Ava happily showed all the books she found in the chests. Archie said that he had been setting up traps in the forest and hadn't left anything good in the chest. A harpy flew to the owner and told him about the movements at the edge of the forest. The dragon asked the animals to go to the flamethrower tower. They need to prepare traps for an ambush. In the forest, Daniel asks everyone to be quiet. He warns everyone about possible traps. Some did not fully believe in the danger, and that is why they suffered. The players noticed strange sounds, but did not pay due attention to them. Sam was sure that there was nothing to be afraid of here. He wanted to say something else, but he didn't have time. His end came quickly. The animals attacked the players. They started calling for help, but it was too late. Daniel doesn't understand why he can't defeat such simple animals. He asked everyone to stay, but the players scattered. They did not want to die. The guy noted the aggressiveness of the animals, but perhaps there are much more terrible monsters waiting for them ahead. When something was noticed above, the girl used magic to recognize it. After a few checks, the players found the tower. It was a miracle that it was in the land of monsters. Sam's opinion has not changed. He is still sure that they have nothing to fear. Suddenly, an arrow flew between the players. Everyone managed to dodge. Sam confirmed his theory that there was nothing to fear here. Even arrows flew past. This arrow was not a simple one. It released poisonous gas. Everyone needs to run. The players were in a panic. They ran wherever their eyes looked. No one wanted to die. Steven watched with pleasure. All the improvements paid off. Ava learned new spells. She offered her help. The dragon wants Ava and Selena to stay in the cave. It will be safer that way. Daniel wants to stop the panic. You need to use the shield and start healing. They can hold their own if they are not targeted. There is a chance of winning. Everyone saw a dragon in the sky. Now they believed Mike's words. Steven welcomed everyone to his domain, energy radiating from him. Daniel realized what a mistake he had made by not trusting the other player. He will become the best player in this world if he can kill the dragon now. Steven knows that these players have no chance of winning. He will quickly kill them all. The dragon used fire breath in the hopes that everyone would die from it at once. Daniel successfully used the cloak as protection from the fire. Nothing happened to him. He orders all the mages to spread out for a joint attack. He himself drank various potions to increase his strength and speed. On command, the attack began. The magicians confident in their strength against the dragon. Steven was disappointed. It was too weak for him, so he decided to kill everyone at once. Daniel waited for the right moment to attack from behind. He wasn't prepared for the fact that he would fall into a trap so easily. His plan falling apart at the seams. The girls and the harpies flew in to help. They couldn't sit idly by. Players can't win. They have to run away if they want to survive. The dragon won't let them escape. They've invaded his territory. The animals attacked the players. They called for help. Their end will be quick. Some were lucky and were able to hide, but their happiness was short-lived. The dragon quickly found them and burned them. This was his first victory against the players. Archie couldn't calm down. He was incredibly happy about their victory. Steven is not going to let the last player go. He suggests torturing him. Suddenly, the dragon was stunned. This alarmed him. He decided to check his health. He had no strength left. Steven lay down on the ground. His body went limp. Ava was scared. She doesn't want to lose her master. In the cave, the elf asked the dragon to wake up. She doesn't know what to do. Selena reminded that the dragon was wounded in the battle and needed to be treated. The girls couldn't leave the dragon. Each one wanted to help him as best she could. Archie studied the dragon's condition. He remembered that it was described in the covenants of the ancestors. He remembered everything and called it the ascent of the true dragon. Ava was excited. She didn't want to disturb the master. Archie was happy when the dragon called him to him. He would serve him forever. In fact, he was told to get out of there. Otherwise, the dragon might eat him. The girls were surprised when Archie ran to set traps. Steven knows that the dragon's ascent is very dangerous. He may not wake up. It was a necessary stage in his life. He tried to calm Ava down. The elf will wait for the dragon to come to his senses. She will not leave him alone. In the newcomer village, a girl received a message about a sleeping dragon. She didn't like it. The system informed her that the story character had entered the newbie territory. She has several options for how events will develop. She can either participate in them or refuse to do so. She decided to greet the gentleman as the head of this village. Blade couldn't stop admiring himself. He was missing a girl next to him. Melinda asks the knight for help. She reported that Mason is beating her. She used a seduction spell to make it impossible for the knight to refuse her. Blade won't let anyone hurt the girl. He'll kill everyone. Mason didn't expect the knight to use force against him. He wanted to rest. He tries to explain that he didn't touch anyone. All the accusations were false. Blade doesn't believe him. He wants Mason to confess to what he did. He's not going to be a punching bag. He's going to punch back. His spells weren't working. Blade took advantage of the situation. Mason recalled that he had come with a punitive expedition against the dragon at the request of the king. Melinda continues to enchant the knight. She suggested that they go after the dragon together. The girl offered Mason another drink of calming tea. He wants to kill her because everything fell apart because of her. The knight will not tolerate insults towards the girl. He will kill him with his bare hands. Melinda didn't stand aside. She decided to harm him herself. The girl kept asking for help, so Mason wants to kill her. Unfortunately for Mason, he didn't have a chance to survive the fight with the enchanted knight. The harpy reported a human army heading towards the dragon. Stephen found himself in the inherited realm of sleep. The sensations here were strange. He came across another majestic dragon. It was his ancestor. The dragon sensed pure blood in Stephen, so he decided to grant him his legacy. Now our hero can return home. He has a goal. But Stephen wanted to talk to the dragon, and he was driven out of the kingdom. Apparently, he needs to get rid of the players. He will definitely do it. The dragon's ancestor was original. He received an unknown crystal. After its destruction, Stephen gained centuries of dragon-kind memories. Ava came to the dragon to help him with training. He should like it. Stephen was thinking about something completely different. He didn't notice when Ava started the lesson. He wasn't ready for this, so he contacted the system, but it didn't respond. Ava will watch the dragon as the swords fly towards him. Selena doesn't know what to do when the animals have scattered, and the dragon hasn't come to his senses yet. At this time, Ava was wondering what she would do in the form of a dragon. In her head, she would be great. Her strategic plans would be good. The girls would admire her. It was their turn to protect the dragon. Melinda did not allow the players to go further because there were enemies ahead. Blade warns that you need to protect your head, as this is the main target of the enemies. She received the powers of the Supreme Mage. All that was left for her to do was destroy the dragon. The girls simply set the monsters on fire, and that was how she sped up their progress. The army was almost at the dragon's lair. Melinda used a search spell. Blade was worried about his beloved. At this time, the girl realized that she had underestimated the monsters. She thanked the knight for covering her. Blade is a good punching bag. Thanks to him, Melinda will achieve a lot. She used the fire explosion. Ava heard the army approaching them. The dragon still did not come to his senses. In his mind, Stephen heard Ava's voice as he dodged the swords. The elf was happy with the dragon's success. He learned new techniques. Ava reminded that the dragon will not leave here until he learns everything. When the opportunity arose, Stephen ran away, but Ava caught up with him. She indicated that the dragon would have to defeat her if he wanted to leave. A battle began in the den. The animals defended their master. Melinda doesn't understand why the dragon hasn't come out to them yet. She eventually found him deep in the cave with a spell. He was huge. The girl felt like the heavens were on her side because the dragon was dormant. She wanted to kill him, but suddenly she was attacked from behind. Ava will not allow anyone to harm her master. She will protect him with her life. The players are amazed that in the lair, besides the dragon, there were also such beautiful girls. Melinda noted that the elf would not be able to do anything with simple spells. But Ava was not alone. Selena and Heather would help her. Together they would save their dragon. Melinda is sure that even 3 girls won't be able to defeat her. Each one has suffered from Melinda's magic, and they are unable to resist it. She sent all the players to kill the dragon. The elf will then come to them herself. Ava regrets that she could not protect her master. In his head, he tried to escape from her, but she found him everywhere. Stephen managed to catch her. She told him that returning could have dire consequences. He had the idea that a kiss would help him get out of his consciousness. It was exactly the opposite. The girl hit him to make the dragon come to his senses. When he woke up, he saw soldiers who had almost reached him. Ava couldn't believe that her beloved master had woken up. She asked for forgiveness for not being able to protect the cave. She was burning with shame. Heather and Selena were happy. The dragon would save them from suffering. Stephen promised to avenge his ladies. He will not allow them to be offended. Selena pointed to Melinda, who had burned all of their clothes. The girl felt fear. She thought that she could cope with the dragon in hibernation. She blamed the system for deceiving her with information about the dragon's condition. Stephen will have to figure out how the girl knows about his hibernation. The soldiers tried to attack the dragon, but they were weak compared to it. The dragon didn't like the fact that the bugs invaded his territory. They scattered as Stephen began to move. Blade asks Melinda to run away together because they are no threat to the dragon. The girl doesn't want to miss the chance. She's ready to try, because she'll be resurrected anyway. Heather saw the one who got rid of her as trash. Melinda didn't stop. She decided to freeze the dragon. Although the elf tried to warn Stephen, the blow landed on his wing. Now the dragon knows who caused all this mess. The girl will stop at nothing. She uses various spells against the dragon. Steven didn't care about her attempts. All the girl's blows missed him. Melinda is shocked. She doesn't know how else she can hit him. She tried her best, but in the end she lost and became disappointed in herself. The dragon's wrath will be worse than death, because his sore spot has been touched. Melinda decided to use another mechanic. She wants to be reborn. Steven can't let her leave on her own terms. He doesn't want the girl to get off easy. She has to suffer. As the dragon dealt with the enemy, Ava reported that Heather was missing. Heather has enough strength to deal with the traitor. She quickly found her worst enemy. Blade was in pain. He couldn't recognize the girl who was bullying him. This fact infuriated Heather even more. She would remind him of herself. The knight remembered her. He thought that the bandits did not leave her alive. He is sure that nothing would have happened to him and the girl. Blade thinks he is irresistible to everyone. He decided to kiss a girl. Heather waited for him to get close so she could give him a good punch. Since Heather hit him, the knight will fight her on equal terms. Blade used a potion to suppress his powers, and the stolen items turned out to be useful. The girl warned that because of her murder, the knight would be hunted. He is ready to tell her sister that the black dragon is to blame for the death. Heather got angry. That was her last emotion. Blade blew her head off. Steven has been watching the players who want to escape. He is not going to let them go. With the help of spells, the players lost their armor and were ashamed. Ava saw Archie ahead. She was glad that he was okay. The dragon asked them to fly back to the cave. As long as he was here, everyone would be safe. Archie bowed his head to the dragon. He believes that he deserves to die for being late. He brought a knight with him, who was found next to Heather's corpse. Steven lost his temper as he listened to the knight's ridiculous excuses. Blade asks to let him go. Then he will tell a secret that will definitely interest the dragon. He revealed that everything happened because of the seduction of Melinda, who killed the High Mage. He also said that the girl is the head of a village in which everyone wants to kill the dragon. Steven thought, he has more to worry about than just one village boss. The dragon liked this secret, so the knight believes that he will be released. In fact, Steven was not so magnanimous. He immediately burned his body. He never said he would let him go, so he didn't break his promise. Steven took revenge for the girl. Now she can rest easy. He gained the ability to teleport to already known places. If he had woken up much earlier, there would have been fewer victims. He wonders if this ascent can be shortened or eliminated. It is bothering him. It turned out that he needed to sleep in any case. Otherwise, the inheritance would not be received. The dragon immediately thought of Ava, who was punishing him for refusing to accept the inheritance. Then he decided to ask the system why other people appeared in the dream realm. He was told that these were accompanying spirits. They helped to complete the ascent. Archie reported that the people had surrendered, and he needed to know what to do with them. Steven ordered Melinda to be watched, and the rest of the prisoners to be locked up. Archie will do everything. He does not understand why the dragon does not return to the lair. The dragon can't do that. It's been a week already, so he can become a crematorium. He knows how to be grateful, so he shouldn't waste time. Steven was watching the sunset. Suddenly the girls appeared. They had some questions. Selena can't contain herself. She wants to know what happened to Heather. The dragon felt awkward that they knew everything. Archie quickly told the news. Ava hopes that the master will be worried if she is gone. She believes that death has meaning if there are people who care about you. Steven doesn't want to die because of his weakness. He will be the strongest. Selena was amazed by his desires. Her sympathy began to grow. A notification about the approach of a powerful creature appeared in the newcomer village. The dragon was affected by a defense mechanism. Its characteristics were reduced. The range of the defense mechanism is 500 meters, which is enough for Steven. The players are trying to hide from the dragon's breath. They were scared. The dragon's blows were weak, but they still brought benefits. The players are at a loss to understand how the dragon managed to sneak up on them unnoticed. One of them asks not to be afraid. If they attack as one team, they will be able to destroy the enemy. Steven watched as the players quickly put up a magic shield. The magicians began to use their powers. The dragon will not like it. The girl is glad that the dragon is scared. She asks everyone to take aim. Steven is not afraid of anything. He decided to create a teleportation field. He needs a field above and in the center of the newcomer's village square. Thanks to this, he was able to deliver a good blow. The power increased. The dragon managed to destroy the entire village, for which he received a fragment of the core. He can use it to establish his own power and build a village, but he already has it. Steven is not surprised by the system's unrest, because the power has been taken from the players. The dragon doesn't like that he will go and destroy the village again, and then all his animals will work non-stop. The system does not recommend such actions, because absolutely all players can find out about it. He decided to spare everyone so that he would not be hunted. The dragon read that a war might begin, during which many different soldiers would appear. The main thing for him is not to miss this moment, and his followers will help him with this. Since his level is low, he will have to wait for the summoning ceremony. Flying over the forest, the dragon saw the elf about to jump from the cliff. He jumped after her to save her and ended up in the water. Steven got it all wrong. Selena didn't like the fact that the dragon was near them. He was disturbing their female company. A new character appears in front of him. He thinks she looks cute. Ava worries that the dragon has started hallucinating after Selena fell on him. She was taught how to save a drowning person, but she doesn't know if it will work on a dragon. Steven was hurt by the way Selena tried to bring him to his senses. While the dragon was pretending to be unconscious, he missed the call. His attention was drawn to Selena's story about the hot springs in the kingdom. The dragon's imagination went beyond the bounds of reason. He begins to get angry. Unfortunately, he can't find a heater in the system. There are only clothes. It turned out that he had enough points to activate the modifications. For successful activation, it is necessary to increase the action of the heart, which provokes acute pain. After some time of suffering, modifications were installed. Its characteristics increased. At close range, it can burn. Its heart temperature is high. He got angry because now he needs a cooling system. The burning sensation passed. He spent a lot of points, but the sensations were pleasant. Steven wants to try the power of the combined explosion. The interest does not leave him. Because of him, the girl's clothes were ruined, and the fire successfully burns everything. Now the dragon's body can automatically regulate the temperature of the eruption. The girls had to hide from the dragon in the water. They can't get out. He managed to find a swimsuit for the dragon. Now he can rest. Selena enjoyed the water. It was a nice change of pace. Steven wasn't just going to sit there. He was offering the girls different ideas. She wonders if she has any strength left to resist. The servant reported that the chief knight was returning from the first fortress. She suggested running away. She is not going to leave. The girl will pray to God. Jenna reminded them that the gods had abandoned them, so it was a waste of time. She grabbed Gloria to carry her away from danger. The girl saw something unexpected. A real miracle began to happen before her. A dragon appeared in the pool. He himself does not understand how he ended up there. He had to turn to the system to sort out the situation. The servant forgot about her goal. She let go of Gloria, who bruised her side. Jenna believes that for her actions before her highness, she deserved to die. Gloria couldn't believe that the messenger of the gods was a black dragon. Steven had no intention of praising the system that had accepted the call-up request immediately. He had just passed an important stage. This move was not in the plans. Gloria couldn't take her eyes off the dragon. She believed in this message with all her soul. The dragon doesn't know what he's doing here. His dimensions are not suitable for this room. He didn't like this statue, so he didn't feel any regret. Gloria said that there used to be a peaceful state on the southern continent, but the mercenaries of the Dark Beast invaded it. People saved themselves as best they could. The girl asks to save her people. She is ready to serve the dragon for eternity. Steven understood the essence of the problem. He is ready to destroy everyone after the Oath of Allegiance. Gloria gives her loyalty and soul to the Great Lord. He doesn't need loyalty after the girl's death. He will provide security if he is not betrayed. He was amazed that the girl was ready to kill herself as proof of her faith. Gloria's sympathy has grown. She is ready to do everything for the dragon. The system informed him that if Gloria's wish was fulfilled, he would gain special abilities. The system's cunning never ceases to amaze him, and he is forced to kill enemies. The girl noticed a change in the dragon's mood. She thinks that she said something wrong. Steven needs to deal with the mercenaries as quickly as possible. Gloria asks him to be careful because the mercenaries are led by a very cruel man. Then the dragon decided to find out everything that could await him next. She warned that there were more than 3,000 people under the enemy's command. The forces are varied and include both low-level goblins and high-level ogres. Unfortunately, the girl no longer has an army to use. Now the dragon does not wonder why the girl prayed to the gods. But he has no time to worry. He knows that the enemy army is strong enough. All he needs to do is come up with a good plan. In the sacred fortress, the ogre enjoys himself. He likes the local girls. The guy lost his temper and said that it was the last leader of the monsters. The players plan to get rid of him in 3 days. Adam is angry. It's been 5 days since he infiltrated the mercenaries. He doesn't want to just watch this human hell. The guy understands that they can be reborn. He wonders if his interlocutors have a heart. They ask him to be patient a little longer. Everything has its time. Adam needs to let off steam. He promises the girl to avenge her. Finally, he heard that they needed to capture this territory to win the game. The guy just can't get all the thoughts out of his head. He wants to destroy all the monsters. The leader did not think that among the mercenaries a traitor would appear so quickly, who would come to his own death. Adam wants to tear everyone apart with his own hands. But then he heard a strange sound. Everyone was shocked when the dragon appeared and gave a final warning. Harry believes that there was some misunderstanding between them. He wants to make friends with powerful creatures. So he proposed an alliance. He can share all the riches and women of this territory. Steven wants everything to remain in its place upon his return. Otherwise, he will turn everything into ashes in an instant. At the fortress, the boy saw a dragon. He was scared only because of its appearance. The alarm has sounded. People must seek shelter from the fiery breath. Stephen understands that their forces are not equal, but his chances of winning are still high. He noted that the head of the mercenaries was indeed smart, and the camp was well made. Harry wonders what he can do at this point. His people are in a panic. The guy hadn't seen dragons here for a long time, so the appearance of this one surprised him greatly. He asked to inform the fighters to prepare for an attack. They must prevent the arrival of reinforcements. There was never a creature that could escape from him with impunity. Gloria is not sure that the dragon's decision is correct. Stephen said that they would defend the fortress and cut off the enemy's escape route. The girl didn't think about it that way. Now she is a dragon fan. He noted that he would like to hand over the defense to Jenna, so that everything would be perfect. The girl is an extraordinary knight. Her talent leaves no one indifferent. Then the dragon wants Gloria to also take part in the liberation. She will have to seduce the enemies. In the sacred fortress, she began to shout for everyone to surrender. The ogres did not immediately understand what was happening, but when they saw the girl, they could only think about her beauty. Gloria warns that you shouldn't approach her. The enemies don't want to listen to her. They understand that she won't do anything to them. The girl is afraid. She can't cope with her task. She calls the dragon for help. Without him, trouble could happen. At that very moment, Stephen returned and happily burned the ogres. Adam survived. He managed to avoid the black dragon's attack. They tried to contact him. The players want to know what's going on with him. He reported that the mercenaries had gone to the kingdom, so he no longer needed to be undercover. They don't need to hide because the dragon attacked the mercenaries. And besides, it will return. At Adam's suggestion, the leader will not delay. He will attack the capital. In the newcomer village, they were discussing a dragon attack. A man wants to pacify it. Adam sent them a video so they could see the dragon's abilities. No one can catch him. Everyone appreciated him. John heard that another village was destroyed by a dragon they underestimated. Some people think that the dragon's reputation is exaggerated because he dealt with the cannon fodder. The man understands that the dragon's mind is something to be feared, so he wants to get it. Gloria will need to warn the people. They all need to hide. Stephen received a notification that a new world boss had appeared. The boss seems familiar to him. His relative destroyed the village of newbies. It didn't immediately dawn on him that he was the boss. Gloria watched the dragon's hysteria. Now he will be the main target of all players. Stephen said he would be stepping away for a while, as he allegedly felt a spirit calling him. When the dragon returned to the lair, he saw Hugh sleeping. The girls were nowhere to be found. The gentleman wants to know what happened here. Hugh is happy to see him. He said that Ava had decided to head east to search for his tracks. Archie still hasn't found any traces of his master. The girls are worried about him. Now the elf believes the man who, according to him, did not see any dragon. She suggested that everyone go forward, when suddenly she heard a familiar voice. Selena began to scold Stephen for his sudden disappearance. Ava can rest assured that the gentleman is fine. Archie showed the dragon all the treasures that had been taken from the villagers. He happily swallowed all the gold. The system should not cheat with the fulfillment of conditions. Jenna reported that mercenaries are approaching the capital, and they urgently need the dragon's help. Gloria is surprised that it is happening so quickly. They don't have any time left. The knight also added that they did not have enough warriors to stop the enemies. The girl does not understand why this is happening when the dragon returned the sacred land to them. Jenna suggests running away. It's the only way out. The guy noticed that they did not encounter any troops. No one fought them back. Gloria came out onto the city wall. The enemies were enchanted by her beauty. There were other girls who were impossible not to notice. The soldiers are having trouble thinking, but they are confident that they will easily take possession of this city. The captain asks them to be silent. Everyone must come down to earth. Harry offers the girl to surrender. The soldiers are amazed by the intelligence of their captain. Gloria is not going to back down. She will not allow the capital to be desecrated. Then the captain threatened that he would kill everyone in his path. Nothing would stop him. The girl didn't know what to do. Her mood improved at the sight of the dragon. Everyone remembers the black dragon, who has already made a brutal attack. Now Harry understands why Stephen attacked them. He is connected to the Holy Virgin. The hearts of his enemies are cold and impure, so he decided to warm them all. Harry is not going to give up. He offers to fight one-on-one. He believes that skill can compensate for the difference in strength. Even though the captain hit the target, the dragon didn't feel any pain. It was fun. Harry is shocked. He didn't expect the dragon to have such thick scales. Any attack Harry makes doesn't work, so he decides to use one technique. The dragon looked at the captain's efforts with bewilderment. A strange object fell into his paws. The ball began to release gas, which caused eye irritation. Stephen is shocked. His opponent has fled at the first opportunity. The ogres ask the captain not to leave them. Without him, they will all die. The dragon will not leave them alone. They must feel the fiery breath. Gloria noted Harry's escape with his mercenaries. she thinks, to pursue them. Stephen asks them to leave these thoughts. He knows that their enemies will not run away. Harry promises himself to take revenge for all the suffering. He wants to become stronger. Jenna watched as the captain tried to escape, and she wondered what he would do next. The dragon reminded that this territory belongs to him, so he does whatever his heart desires. Harry doesn't understand at what point everything went wrong. His whole plan failed. Stephen helped avoid disaster, so he invites Gloria to become his vassal. From today on, the girl promises to serve the dragon faithfully and truly. He hopes to receive a special ability for completing the task. He now has a hot power that will increase his damage. The dragon immediately used a new ability. The girls nearby were unhappy. He asked for forgiveness. He likes that with this ability all his skills increase. Stephen said that he was flying away. The girl did not want to leave him. She offers her help, although she knows nothing about the dragon's affairs. He wonders if there are witches or healers in the kingdom. Jenna remembered about the mysterious witch who never lives in one place. She wants the dragon to stay here for a few days while he looks for this witch. Stephen likes this idea, but he himself doesn't know where to look for it. Gloria was delighted. She would prepare the best chambers for the dragon. The girl couldn't help but think about Stephen. She constantly remembers the brave dragon. Jenna came to her. She doesn't understand how she can rest at such a time. Gloria is worried that the mercenaries have returned, and Jenna wants to report it. The knight is sure that the girl has developed feelings for the dragon. She sees it on her face. She didn't like the idea of seducing the dragon into staying. Jenna voiced her thoughts. In any case, it will not be her choice. Gloria came to the dragon's chambers. She hopes that he will not get angry at the sight of her. She burst into his room to discuss a matter, and she wants him to understand her hints. Stephen began to ask the system if it was possible to cure the girl's condition. It seems that everything is happening because of the dragon's energy, which has a strong influence on his subjects. He needs to distance himself from the person who signed the contract so that he can return to his previous state. The dragon wants Gloria to come to her senses. He feels awkward being here. The girl did not immediately notice that the dragon was here with his companion. Gloria was disgraced. She wanted to attract the dragon's attention, but he was no longer alone. She lied that she wanted to discuss the organization of the army. Stephen can't protect the country all the time. He has things to do too. Therefore, he pointed out that the girl herself should think about the next steps. He was able to exhale when Gloria left. Now he had to explain himself to Ava. The elf thinks that her master does not like his companion. Jenna informed the divine dragon that they had found the witch. The dragon does not understand why the witch was brought to him in such a strange way. She shouldn't see people. The girl believes that the dragon will forgive her for this. Stephen thinks that the witch is hiding because of her appearance, or she is just up to something. The main thing for him is that the witch can examine the patient. Before the examination, the witch asked to remove all people from the room. Now the dragon is ready to begin. His patience is running out. He reassures Ava that Stephen will always be there for her. The dragon hasn't found any solution to Ava's problem, so they have to do this. The cats approached the elf. They quickly grew due to the witch's magic. Ava is amazed. Before her eyes, the cat became very similar to a human. Nobody expected that this cat would decide to eat the girl. The dragon lost his temper and would not allow anyone to harm Ava. He tries to catch the cat to free Ava, but he fails. The dragon warns the witch that her cat must let the elf go, otherwise everything will be bad for everyone. The witch noted that this is exactly how the examination takes place. She told about a strong curse. Stephen doesn't want to listen to her until Ava appears in front of him. The dragon decided to break the palanquin to look the witch in the eye. Kiara became hysterical. She was exposed in the human world. The dragon had to cover the girl's head to stop her screaming. He pulled this trick several times. It seems that Kiara is afraid of everyone. The witch changed her image so she would be safe. The dragon couldn't leave her alone because Ava was never returned. With the help of magic, the elf ended up in his hands. A strange situation. Kiara sent Ava a good dream. She studied her curse. The girl said that this curse steals talent. Its source is in the heart. We need to find the one who cast it. Otherwise, the elf will die. The witch reminded me of one method in which you need to replace the cursed heart. This thought infuriated the dragon because you can't just buy a new heart. Kiara is sure that Ava will be suited to the dragon's heart because he infected her with his energy. Stephen doesn't want to listen to this. He can't donate his organs. Then Kiara suggests that he find the creature that cursed his wife. He is ready to reward the witch if she finds this person, because he definitely won't succeed. Kiara will try, but there is no guarantee that she will succeed. She began to cast a spell to find this man. The girl's defenses cracked as she tried to see who had cursed Ava. She failed, and the opportunity to find him disappeared. So the dragon decided to ask the system if he could grow multiple hearts. It turned out that it is possible to do this. He can make as many hearts as he wants. But the heart that belongs to him is only one. It is impossible to create something out of nothing. Steven learned that the lava heart would control the energy core. In theory, if he gives his heart to Ava, life will leave him. The dragon wants to know how he can give his heart and still survive. He was shown a golden apple that could grow to the size of a heart and replace it. He doesn't have enough points to buy it. The system irritates him. In her delirium, Ava says that she wants to always be close to her master. Kiara knows one way to prolong the curse so that Ava stays alive. In that case, according to her, we need to trust each other unconditionally. The dragon agrees to this. The witch can bind Ava and the dragon right now. She explained that when the bond was activated, the weak side would take away life force to preserve life. Since the dragon was ready for anything, Kiara began to seal the couple's bonds. She tied the dragon so that there would be no mistakes. The witch admires the dragon. Even she is not capable of taking such a step. Steven didn't like the fact that his whole past would be known to his significant other. Kiara admires the dragon's sacrifice. He endures incredible pain. Ava ran to her sister in tears. She missed her so much. Steven was shocked when he realized that he had turned into a girl. The boy couldn't believe that the elf was so cute as a child. He found himself in Ava's secret dream realm, and her secrets were revealed to him. Ava fears that she will not be able to awaken as a high elf. A girl came running to them. She was worried that Ava had run away to a dangerous place. Everyone has already gathered for awakening. The elf must run to the elders. Steven noticed that everything in this world was changing following Ava. The elder said that the girl was not succeeding, and he was ready to kick her out of school. Ava promises to try harder to wake up. She's already on the edge. The man is disappointed in her. In his opinion, she is a disgrace to the entire elven race. The dragon will not allow Ava to be bullied. He decided to show that you can't talk to his sister like that. Today, Ava and all her relatives were driven out of the heart of the forest. They will have to live on the outskirts. Steven asks Ava not to be discouraged. They will show everyone their skills. The girl decided to pick fruits. She wants to feed her sister. The lower elves approached her. They were unhappy that Ava had been given so many attempts to awaken. Then Steven appeared, and all the elves ran away at the sight of him. And then the scene changed again. The dragon found the elf in the closet. He wanted to help her, when suddenly something dealt him a crushing blow. In the real dimension, Ava couldn't calm down. She tried to wake up the master. Kiara said that the divine dragon saved the elf and went into hibernation. Ava didn't want the dragon to sacrifice himself for her. The witch suggests that she talk to the dragon so that he comes to his senses. The elf began to tell what she had dreamed about. She had strange pictures in her head. After these words, the dragon immediately came to his senses. He does not want to listen to this any further. Steven bit his tongue to keep from saying anything. He remembers his dead youth. In the capital, Gloria showed a statue that was dedicated to the great dragon. The girl looks at his figure every day in search of a blessing. Gloria insistently asks him to stay here much longer than he is supposed to. Since everything was calm here, Steven decided to go to his cave. The girl will miss him. She didn't want to see anyone else but him. In the lair, Steven liked how his people had arranged the place. Archie was happy when his owner returned and immediately rushed to hug him. The dragon is tired today. He doesn't want to talk to anyone anymore. As it turned out, his temperature rose and he started feeling dizzy. The system reported that his condition had worsened due to the bonds. It was hard to imagine such a deterioration. It was not for nothing that Ava was worried about him. The elf wants to help him. The dragon reminded him that they have different organisms. Ava remembers this, so she decided to make a decoction. Kiara gave Ava the recipe in case the dragon got sick. The girl was preparing a strange concoction, which included various beetles. In the newcomer village, a man wants to put the new head in a prominent place. He was informed that a player wanted to meet him while he enjoyed his art. His servant conveyed that the stranger wanted to tell him about the dragon's location. Ava was happy. She prepared the medicine for the master herself. Steven felt good that he now had people who cared about him. He felt even worse when he smelled the decoction. The elf won't leave him alone until he eats all the brew. Selena also asks him to try the brew that Ava spent the night making. He has no choice. Steven will have to try this thing. Now he knows the taste of death. The dragon thinks that Ava wanted to take revenge on him. The girl asks him not to hurry. She has prepared a whole vat of this decoction. Mike understands that a man's courage cannot be compared to anyone else's. Sheldon hates looking at the faces of weaklings, which is what Mike is. He began to justify himself by saying that the monsters were influenced by the dragon. The man doesn't really understand why this guy wants to join him when the dragon is recognized as the boss. Mike told about an elf whose head a man would definitely like. He was madly in love with this incredible creature. The man could not take his eyes off her photograph. He had already imagined how to place the dragon's head and the elf's head in his room. Mike doesn't care who wins. He'll get his profit either way. Steven had to move Selena so that she wouldn't disturb Ava's sleep. Although the brew was disgusting, the dragon felt much better. Archie decided to find out how the owner wanted to punish the prisoners. The dragon was shocked by the number of his captives. There were a lot of them, so they were not properly fed. Stephen realizes that the prisoners did not think they would be starved. He wants to see them. He liked the prison his animals had built. Archie was pleased with himself. The dragon thinks to force everyone to plant plants, so everyone will have food, and the prisoners will have work. Archie doesn't understand how he didn't think of this himself. He'll be working with potatoes. In another cave, the captain was told that he had eaten all of his food for the month in a week. The boys thought they would be safe from grief when they went after the coolest member of the squad. David decided to interrupt their dialogue. The guys got scared and said that they were thinking of moving to another village. Sheldon was waiting for everyone to gather for the meeting. David suddenly appeared behind him. The man doesn't understand how David passed by without a sound. Sheldon is the lord of these lands. He has long heard about David's power. Mike is amazed that such a big man is an assassin. He liked the guy. Sheldon can give him away as a guard dog. Another person appeared in the room. He hadn't seen his old friends for a long time. Everyone was shocked by the purpose of this meeting. They would have to kill the Black Dragon. Mike asks not to blame him. He just moved to another team and did not become a nanny. The guy suggests grabbing the elf, then the dragon will not resist. In fact, he knows that the dragon will get angry about this and kill everyone. Stephen won't let Ava prepare medicine anymore. She herself has started to feel unwell. Ava admitted that she felt some kind of cold, evil intent. Stephen is surprised that he didn't feel anything like that. The elf keeps forgetting to give the dragon one thing that he wanted to get. She handed him the key to the silver chests, which she had taken from Melinda. Selena showed a whole bunch of keys that she took from Daniel after the torture. Melinda blames the guy for her situation. Because of him, she ended up here. She needs to find a way to escape if she can't kill herself. The girl got mad because Daniel was thinking more about the key he got for points. She asks him to give her his aggression points so she can escape and help him. Sheldon approached the dragon's lair and demanded that Mike bring the elf to him. Everyone tells him that he must demonstrate his strength. David reminds Mike that his abilities will allow him to hide in the shadows. In the end, he managed to enter the lair unnoticed and quickly found the elf. The deal was done. Melinda wouldn't be coming back, but she would put Daniel out of his misery. She decided to kill him. Daniel was disappointed in her. He was deceived. In prison, Ava couldn't go far. The wolf saw her fall. She twisted her ankle and was grateful to whoever caught her in time. Ava said that she came back here because of a lost item, and at the same time checked the guards. The wolf quickly ran to a place where there were no guards. He would show himself from the best side. Melinda is glad that she bought the transformation potion. She was able to take on the form of an elf to escape. Mike doesn't understand where the elf went. She disappeared before his eyes. She fell because she collided with the invisible Michael. The guy was happy. His target practically fell into his hands. The dragon was informed as Ava headed towards the Silver Forest. Stephen thought she was fine, but she wasn't there. He couldn't find the whisper of the aura. He had to look for the girl at night. He didn't think about the fact that he might be noticed. David calms everyone down. With the help of his power, the dragon will not see anyone. Everyone understands that the dragon is looking for the elf. Mike succeeded. Adrian warns everyone not to relax. The dragon looks much stronger than they expected. Sheldon reminded that everyone dies from his blade. The dragon must be brought to the center. Stephen only saw the armor flying towards him, while Sheldon was ready to attack. The man is happy. He believes that he managed to kill the dragon with one blow. In fact, Sheldon's sword did nothing. There wasn't even a scratch on Stephen. Sheldon doesn't believe that his sword was unsuccessful. It can't be. The dragon only stumbled. Nothing supernatural happened to the sword here. The man was shocked. His great sword was broken. The dragon asks him to prepare for death for invading someone else's territory. Unexpectedly for Stephen, they started shooting at him with a gun, and a bullet hit him. Adrian noted the dragon's thick scales, his bullets only scratching the body. Stephen moved quickly. The man was not ready for this. He quickly changed his position to shoot the enemy. Due to the dragon's spell, Adrian's gun stopped responding to him. The dragon was about to kill the man when he suddenly heard a voice that stopped him. Sheldon threatens Ava. He is ready to throw her off a cliff to attract the dragon's attention. Stephen dumped Adrian. He warns that it is better to let the elf go. The man did as the dragon wanted. He let the girl go into free fall. The dragon had good reflexes and managed to catch Ava. Without expecting it, Stephen found himself in the center of the seal. It was a trap. The dragon warns that such a simple seal will not stop him. David asks the dragon to cook the head. He wants to taste it. Adrian thinks they might have been tricked. This dragon doesn't look like a 4th level. He realizes that they have all encountered a dragon far stronger than they could have imagined. Sheldon asks everyone not to stand still. Together, they can deliver a crushing blow. The witches, who had also come to the battle, prepared to attack. Unfortunately, Stephen can't use his powers to keep Ava from getting hurt. The elf knows that they need to run. The seal won't hold for long. She wanted to do at least something, when suddenly she received serious damage. Sheldon was unhappy that someone had managed to hurt the elf he wanted to take for himself. The witches thought they had to attack with full force. The man lost his temper. All this time he was talking about the dragon. Stephen will leave no one alive. Everyone will suffer because of their decisions. Now Adrian was starting to worry too, because the dragon was really angry. The dragon warns that no one can escape from his fire. David uses his powers, which allow him to distract the dragon and escape. Stephen watched as David ran away from him. He decided to release the lava heart. At the lair, Archie reported that Ava had returned home, but Stephen already knew this. He wonders if Ava's spirit has returned to the forest. He feels sorry for losing her. The elf said that she found honey. With it, the medicines would be tasty. The dragon has already started hallucinating. He knows that Ava cannot be here. The hallucination pleased the dragon to the touch. Stephen couldn't stop touching it. Archie reported that 2 prisoners had escaped, and he had also found a transformation potion. The elf was unhappy that the dragon was telling everyone about her death. He tried to explain that another girl had died in her form. The dragon had simply confused them. The kingdom was informed that an ambassador had arrived who could bring back Master Mason. The king was shocked by this impudence, because Mason could not do anything with the dragon. He asked me to tell you that Mason was buried in the dragon's mouth. The queen appeared in the room. She heard about one incident. Chloe finished her visit with family and friends and had to go back. She is interested in the fact that the king sent people to find the dragon in order to cure his son. The girl showed her displeasure. She didn't like the fact that in her absence the king was on the brink of war. Peter only wanted to cure the prince. He was hurt by the queen's behavior. She ordered the knight to bring the ambassador. Now everyone must obey her. After some time, a young man appeared. He could not help but notice the beauty of the queen. Chloe appreciates the compliments and wants to get to the point of the conversation. He heard that the army lost to the dragon and no one survived, so His Majesty is preparing compensation. The queen confirmed the death of the army, but she is sure that Mason is alive. She said that the returning soldiers saw Mason in the woods. After the queen's words, the guy thinks that Mason has deserted. The girl agreed with this from the very beginning. She wanted to resolve the situation peacefully. The guy will have to stay here for a few days until the investigation into Mason is over. In the cave, Stephen is worried because Ava is not paying attention to him. He decided to destroy the newbie villages so that the players would not disturb his peace. The dragon can be marked as an eternal boss due to constant attacks, then it can be found quickly. Stephen is shocked. He destroyed villages, and players, as it turns out, can teleport to him. He needs to find a new way to earn points. The villages can't be touched. Adam noticed that the boss had been updated, and was surprised that someone stronger than the dragon had appeared. He will have to postpone the battle with the dragon. For him, it is a worthy opponent. The dragon wants to believe that the system is not hiding anything from him. They spend so much time together. The system was not going to reveal the reasons for his decline in publicity. He read that the system is not an artificial satellite. It can only estimate the descent. Since his public image has changed, he can attack villages. The dragon asked Archie to gather soldiers. They should be ready for the campaign. He said that they would all go together to the north of the desert, where a new village awaited them. Now the dragon wants to find something that will enhance the modification of all subordinates. He wonders if his subordinates are evolving along with him. The dragon liked the will of the swarm, which he thought of putting into his body. In the palace, the queen wanted to look her best. Her subjects did not leave her side. Sheely came to her. She was glad to see the queen in front of her. Chloe ordered everyone to leave. No one should interfere with their dialogue. The girl showed her missing sister's bracelet. She wants to find her. The queen will help her only if she receives a reward for it. Shaylee is ready to give 10 years of her youth. The main thing for her is to find her sister Selena. Chloe used a magic mirror to find her sister using something she owned. They saw the dragon in his lair with another girl. Everyone moved to the plain. Archie suggests that everyone take a rest because it is hot here. The dragon pretended that everything was fine with him, but in reality he was a stove. He didn't immediately realize that there were girls sitting on his back. They were overheated. Stephen had to use water from the river to bring the girls back to their senses. They heard the girl's screams. She was calling for help. The guys were not going to let her go. The map did not show the dragon that there was a newcomer village nearby. The system explains that the camps of players from different worlds have abilities. This is how the Indians hide their village. It is currently known that the Cherry Camp has a martial spirit that increases the team's power. In the Beauty Camp, players have the scientific analysis skill, which helps them create equipment. The dragon is amazed that each camp has its own abilities. He wants to know more about it. Stephen couldn't just watch the players bully the girl. He went to fight for her. The girl looked surprised, as if she didn't expect the dragon himself to come to her aid. She finally found him. The girl spent a lot of time looking for the dragon. The players are unhappy that someone dared to throw them into the river. The dragon won't let them go. He decided to immerse them head-on. The girl plans to seduce the dragon. She knows that they cannot resist a woman. Shaylee began to say words of gratitude. She wants to dedicate her whole life to him. She knows that no one can resist her beauty. To her surprise, the dragon fled, and she expected him to fall at her feet. Shaylee will still find him and kill him with her own hands. Archie warned them that there was danger ahead. Monsters often lurked there. Stephen asked them to remember that they are all ready to die among the enemies. The beast will never forget his master's motto again. He admires it. After a while, the dragon asked everyone to stop. They needed to make a rest stop. Meanwhile, the girls changed into clothes suitable for this place. Stephen smelled metal. It was similar to the smell of brass and copper dragons. He hopes that Archie will find a way to get around this path. The beast looked at the map and said that the easiest way to get there would be along the only path leading north. The dragon decided to scout out the situation, and in the meantime, everyone would be able to rest. Stephen followed the smell and found the brass dragon's lair. He knows that dragons are territorial creatures. You can't just approach them. Through carelessness, Selena flew with the dragon. She did not get off him. The girl doesn't understand that another dragon has forgotten here. The brass dragon wants to know why the unknown has invaded his domain. Stephen just wanted to get through this place. He is ready to pay for disturbing the peace. Hunter wants 100,000 gold and a man to talk to him. Our dragon wants to know if the brass dragon can be reborn. He doesn't want to spend that much. He will demand a new person if he cannot talk for 3 days. The dragon thought about Selena for a second. She would never stay here. Stephen is ready to pay, but he will not leave people behind. He asks to let them all through. Hunter was angry that Stephen compared himself to the metal dragons. The negotiations had reached a dead end, so our dragon prepared for battle. Hunter is amused that some dragon dared to challenge him. He wanted to attack, but Stephen disappeared right from under his nose. Stephen was much faster and was able to attack the enemy silently. Selena will not stand aside. She will help her master. As a result, our dragon fell into the trap. He asked her to be careful. The storm that was caused was huge. Stephen can't even open his eyes. Because of the sand, he couldn't see anything. The brass dragon was beyond the range of his magic. It urgently needs modification so it can see through sand. He needs to wait 3 minutes and the modification will take effect, after which Stephen will find the enemy. Hunter didn't expect so many rocks to fly towards him. Stephen has become stronger. He will gladly feed the dragon. The brass dragon is not going to acknowledge Stephen because he attacks from behind. Now he was really angry. Hunter started stamping his paws. Stephen fell into quicksand. The dragon wings can't withstand such force. Selena appeared in an underground cave surrounded by ghosts. The dragon found himself in a tunnel of snake bones. He was under quicksand. The girl believes that her master has survived. She tries to shout to him. She hoped he was behind her, but it was a ghost. Selena lit up the cave. There were too many corpses here. Stephen heard strange sounds. He checked the system to see if Selena was alive. He will have to move forward. Using his abilities will only lead to a quick death. The system showed him that there was some unknown force ahead. The dragon saw the crystal in which the girl was imprisoned. The system stopped answering the dragon's questions. He wants to find this unknown force. Selena came across ancient magical writings. It was on her topic. She found the legendary Code of the Dead, which all magicians are looking for. For the witch, this was a great success. She would have a chance to read the Code of the Dead. Selena pushed aside the skeletons and read that an evil spirit was sealed here, whose eyes could not be looked into. The dragon was scared when the girl opened her eyes. He doesn't know what to do with her. The witch thinks that all these warnings are strange. She needs to find a way out of the cave. The girl almost got out. When suddenly sand got into her eyes, it hurt. An earthquake has started, and Stephen doesn't know where to hide. Suddenly a girl fell on him, so they were able to find each other. Selena was happy that the dragon did not die. Her sympathy grew. She said that after the quicksand, she found herself in a cave in which there were many corpses of wizards. The dragon was most interested in the Code of the Dead, which, unfortunately, did not say how they could get out. Selena remembered that one magician wrote about a sealed spirit before his death. Stephen realizes that they are talking about the girl in the crystal. The witch thinks that all the wizards who died here were trying to seal her away. She noted that they did not need to read her name out loud, touch her, or look her in the eyes. Stephen began to worry. He had already managed to do all this. The crystal exploded. The girl was free. It was incredible. The fragments pierced the dragon's scales. No one could do it. Chelsea finally had her freedom. She was a special female character. Stephen and Selena hid. They didn't want to catch the girl's eye. Even the system can't help the dragon in such a situation. Unfortunately, Chelsea found the dragon before he could come up with anything. The only thought that came to their minds was escape. In his lair, Hunter was informed of the Black Dragon's army, which had stopped not far from his domain. An earthquake has hit him too. Something is bursting out from under the ground. Ava turned her attention to the place where she thought the dragon had flown. She felt uneasy at heart, but the elf did not lose hope that everything was okay with the dragon. Steven studied Chelsea's characteristics. Nothing was known about her abilities. The girl does not understand why the dragon ran away from her. She did not intend to attack. The dragon can't believe that Chelsea was able to get out so easily when her powers were not yet fully restored. Steven is not going to obey her, even though he enjoyed hearing the compliments. Chelsea admitted that it all happened because of the magicians who wanted to kill her snake. She invites the dragon to become her new pet, and the girl quickly becomes attached to him. A dragon will not be a girl's pet. It is beneath his dignity. Her sympathy began to fall because the dragon did not obey. Steven didn't know that sympathy could go down. It turned out that it would be unstable. The brass dragon's lair exploded. Hunter felt incredibly sorry for his home. Hunter noticed that our dragon survived and found help for himself. Steven would like to know how Chelsea helps him. The dragon decided to say that Hunter definitely wouldn't be able to defeat her. He wouldn't have enough strength. Hunter doesn't like the fact that someone dared to act outrageously in front of him. He will show everyone why he is called the Dragon Lord. Steven wanted to give some advice, but no one listened to him. Chelsea doesn't miss the opportunity to offer the dragon to become her pet. Hunter will show the full power of his flame. He wants to avenge his lair. Selena and Steven watched the battle from the front lines, wishing the dragon luck. Chelsea warned that the pet must obey her. She got angry. Hunter can't move. Chelsea successfully used all her skills. The system told Steven that he could subdue Chelsea, but he would need to sacrifice a body part. He will have to buy a field of submission. The dragon will have to maintain the same conditions for everything to work out. Hunter started calling for help. He had no chance of winning. Selena suggested that her dragon make a quick escape, but he was already gone. Steven timed the moment and found himself behind the girl. He was not going to run. The witch keeps calling the dragon to follow her. They need to hide from Chelsea. Steven asks Chelsea to free the dragon. He must defeat her since he released it himself. Chelsea is interested in all this. She likes this behavior of her future pet. Hunter was released immediately and thanked Steven for his help. Our dragon reminded us that salvation comes with a price. The dragon fainted when he saw how much gold Steven wanted. At this point, Chelsea asks not to be distracted. The battle is still ongoing. The dragon has timed the moment to call the field of the subordination contract. He only needs to keep the girl in the field for 10 seconds. Steven grabbed Chelsea's lasso so she could move away from him. The girl did not immediately notice the field, but eventually she realized what the dragon was going to do. Chelsea used her powers to send a snake flying towards Selena. Selena doesn't want to die. She needs to endure a little. The dragon had to leave the field to protect the witch. Selena is glad that the dragon came to her aid. She couldn't have done it alone. Steven asks the girl to calm down. She needs to hide in a safe place. She understood everything. The girl looked at the dragon, but she needed to run. On the surface, Selena found the ring of a magician who had written a warning in blood. Chelsea didn't think the dragon could create a domination field, but he had no power left. They are going to make a new snake out of Steven's skin. He asks them to stop. Suddenly, the forces that Chelsea destroyed thousands of years ago appeared. Selena was at her limit. She wanted to help the dragon in any way she could. The dragon bought a new field and managed to capture the girl. The system noted that the dragon could make anything a receptacle except scales and horns. The deal was made and Chelsea became the dragon's new servant. Selena couldn't believe that they had succeeded, but it wasn't the end yet. The girl showed the corpse ring, with which she was able to use the earth-binding spell. The witch can become a powerful necromancer, but this was never her dream. The dragon wouldn't say that you should refuse because of fear of the undead. Steven thought about magic for a long time. He forgot about one important detail. Ava immediately led an army of monsters to help the dragon. The dragon remembered that Hunter was now his debtor. He gives only two options. Hunter can either serve him or must skin himself. Hunter warned that the Dragon Alliance would put Steven on the wanted list for the murder of a fellow dragon. He said that there are fewer and fewer dragons. Their population is melting away before our eyes. Several thousand years ago, there were tens of thousands of dragons on Dragon Island. People are increasingly eager to obtain the body of dragons to sell. The dragons saw people kill their parents. It was cruel. Hunter noted that the dragon slayers were constantly following them. The Dragon Protection Alliance was created to protect everyone who remained, as long as the rules were followed. The Red Dragon knows that sooner or later the dragon slayers will destroy everyone. Hunter warned that because of his murder, our dragon would be imprisoned for the rest of his days. Steven is not going to listen to all this. He decided to offer Hunter cooperation once again. If he refuses, the dragon will make Hunter himself wish for death. Steven promised not to do anything if the dragon served him faithfully. As a result, Hunter, under these conditions, wished to become a relative of the Black Dragon. The dragon looked at the spot that appeared on him after signing the contract. He was struck by the system's message that publicity had been reduced again. He'll accidentally wake Ava up with his screams. He needs to calm down. Ava kissed him to stop the bite from hurting. Now she could go to bed. The dragon flew to the village of newcomers, which looked like an entire kingdom. He understands that this village has developed at an extraordinary rate. What was surprising was that the system called it normal speed, and such a village is not the only one. Stephen read that this village was more like an invading species, with no natural enemies. On Archie's orders, he prepared all the ammunition and showed off his new development. The dragon liked this result, but he asked Archie to get rid of the pungent smell. Everyone went on the attack. The dragon asks to use new ammunition. The players scattered as monsters attacked their village. The smell made them feel sick, but they had to somehow inform the master about the attack. Stephen asks Hunter to join forces and direct their fire towards the city center. Hunter doesn't understand why he should kill those who didn't provoke them. Then Stephen decided to explain to him visually why there were fewer and fewer dragons. He recalled that it was people who seized their territories and destroyed their right to life. People killed so many of their relatives, tore out hearts, made tinctures, crushed them into food. If you let them go, he will lead an army to the dragon's lair. Hunter's mind changed. He wanted to kill everyone. Stephen liked it. Together they would destroy the human village. The young master was informed of the dragon attack. Spencer asks the mages to get ready. They need to use the most powerful spells. He doesn't understand why the dragons attacked them so suddenly. One guy said that a few days ago the dragon was attacked, and now he came for revenge. Spencer realized that his father had been defeated, and he would avenge him himself. The guy asks everyone to take out their spears and aim at the dragon. You need to throw with all your might. Stephen didn't care about them. With the help of spells, no weapon would reach him. Spencer doesn't believe what's happening, and he orders the mages to raise their shields. People are trying to save themselves. The magicians were unable to restore the spell. Hunter likes this picture. He broke people's self-confidence. He noticed that the dead were just coming out of some room in front of him. Stephen asks Hunter to tell him everything he knows about the people here. Hunter felt uneasy because these people came from another world. The sorceress knows that they have no chance against the dragons. They need to run. The girl told them about a village nearby. This was their chance for salvation. Spencer is ready to go in search of the invisible village. He wants to survive. He knows that in that village, people are not reborn, but simply live on their own. After the dragons fly away, they will rebuild the village. Andrea asks to run, while the invisibility potion is still in effect. The dragons showed that their world would be in danger because of these people. That's why he attacked them. Besides, these people were professionals. Hunter began to panic. Now he thinks that danger awaits them at every step. Stephen asks him to calm down. He is surprised by the nervous system of this dragon. He wants to collect all the monsters here, destroy the alien villages, and eventually build his own city. The crystal can help them gain the ability to build cities. By truly uniting, they can build a city for the monsters and drive out the invaders. All this touched Hunter. He promises to follow Stephen until the end of his days. He admires our dragon, and the dragon began to shower his master with compliments. Stephen has been waiting for this day. First, they need to get stronger. Although his publicity has increased again, the dragon may not be afraid of the players. They have another goal. Ava must break the news that 2 people have escaped. The dragon asks not to chase after the escapees, but to quietly follow them. The Indian players don't want to fall flat on their faces anymore. They have to show their strength. The dragons burned the villages of the newcomers. They will leave no one alive. The players have been walking for so long to get to their village, which is now being burned before their eyes. The captain orders everyone to flee, even though they can respawn. He said that players from another village died, respawned, and died of hunger. One of them noticed that this same dragon had attacked them in the past. Shaylee appeared in front of them. She wants to know where the dragon is. She beat up those who started pestering her. Now she needs to be taken to the dragon. The dragon successfully destroyed the village, for which he received a fragment of the core. His fame has increased. He can become the boss of the world again. He finally collected all 4 fragments. It wasn't easy. The girl wants to find the right moment to get closer to the bloodthirsty dragon. As the dragon flew over the forest, the girl began to scream and call for help. He immediately rushed to help. Sheely is going to take off his mask. Sheely wished to follow the dragon. She would serve him. The girl wants to gain his trust in order to kill him in the end. Stephen doesn't understand why the girl is doing this. He wants to stay away from her. The dragon didn't like that people in front of him started bargaining. Sean is offered to give him all his treasures and pass on various information. Stephen is interested in this proposal and asks to share all the knowledge. The guy showed traditional delicacies that the dragon can taste. The dragon gives them 3 seconds to tell everything they know, otherwise they will burn. Stephen wants to hear about gold coins and jewelry. He is not interested in anything else. Sean told about the battle between the King of Worms and the mercenaries. The dragon can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. The dragon thinks that this king is marked as the boss of the world because he destroyed 1 more village. Sean can't say anything more, but he agrees to pass on new information at any time. A notification appeared that said a player had a high level, which increased the sensitivity. Stephen noticed that Sean's face had changed, It looked like he was hiding something. The dragon learned about sensitivity to pain. Now he will be able to discover much more interesting things in the game. Sean is not hiding anything. Steven will not burn him if he stays true to his word. Steven didn't say he wouldn't hurt them. He showed his true nature. The girls return to the dragon, and Shaylee thinks they need to be saved from him. Ava felt bad because of the dirt that surrounded them. She wanted to wash herself. Shaylee asks the dragon to take her with everyone. She wants to sacrifice the most precious thing. Selena didn't like that the dragon was kidnapping girls behind their backs. Steven wants to find a way to get rid of Shaylee. He liked the idea of sleeping gas. The system asks him to think carefully, but the dragon has already made his decision. The gas was not used as the dragon imagined. Steven lost all his dragon honor. It was a tragedy. The dragon has connected 4 village core fragments. Now he can choose the type of village. Of all the choices, he was interested in the underground city, but he felt that it was a bad decision. The system told him all the pros and cons of such a village, and he decided to choose it. If the time comes when the players dare to go to the dragon, they will fall into a trap. Ava was scared by the earthquake. The dragon explained that a village was being built now. The elf suggests hiding somewhere else, because the lair will soon collapse. Everyone moved to the underground city. Its characteristics increased. The dragon had to make one guard. Hunter and Ava were presented to choose from. He doesn't really understand why he has to choose between only 2 candidates. Steven decided to make Hunter a guard. He was not ready for this. Hunter feels like some kind of power has flowed into him. It seems like the dragon made a mistake. The dragon is glad that he did not choose the dragon's lair. The functions there are intended only for the dragon. For example, the probability of pregnancy in dragons is increased in the lair. The system reported that he could hide the city's location for a week. The dragon went berserk because in any case his lair would be revealed to all players. He learned that new characteristics would appear after the disclosure, but the situation did not make him happy. It seems to him that the existence of the black dragon consists of always being led around by the nose. Steven doesn't want to be disturbed, so he hides the city for the day. The dragon wanted to go outside, but to do this, he needed to build a one-way portal. In the underground labyrinth, Selena was scared she saw ghosts everywhere. Ava explains that it was just a shadow. There is nothing to be afraid of. Steven asked the beast to stand in the corner. He wants to check something. Selena became even more frightened when the beast disappeared before their eyes. The dragon explained that this is a feature of the Labyrinth of Darkness, where any beast goes into an invisible state. Archie suggested setting traps in the labyrinth, and we could also send animals there. Steven expected such a reaction from him. He was a real master in operations. The dragon left this matter to Archie, and at the same time he reminded him about growing potatoes. He asked the system to distribute points to purchases that are more profitable for him. The system selects a suitable improvement program that suits it. Steven warned Ava that he would be taking up his development again. The elf will protect her master, so he can sleep peacefully. Unfortunately, this time the process would be more painful. So the dragon asked Ava to take a walk. Ava won't go anywhere. She knows that during the dragon's evolution, an accident can happen. She won't let anything bad happen. The elf will guard him. The dragon realized that there was no point in arguing here, so he agreed to leave Ava. Ava was warned that she would need to stay away from him to avoid getting hurt. To prevent an accident, the transformation will seal the vocal cords and remove the limbs. Steven was not prepared for this turn of events. He does not want to lose limbs. Ava cannot watch her master suffer. She is afraid for him. Steven was in unbearable pain. He wanted to lose consciousness. The dragon is ready to spend all his points just to not feel this pain. He fell into a deep sleep, but after a while he came to his senses. The system reported that there was a good reason that woke him up. Ava uses healing magic. The dragon wants her to stop doing it. Steven can't speak. He hates this system. The dragon found himself in the world of consciousness, surrounded by various threads. Archie was thinking about fried potatoes. He thanks the great master for this product. He created connections with one being. He can do the same with others. It was the consciousness of the pack that the dragon decided to use these connections to the maximum. Steven saw the most unexpected scene, which he wanted to forget immediately. It wasn't the most pleasant sight. He fell back along with Akri. He realized that he could not only listen to thoughts, but also control the bodies of others. The dragon saw that Archie had become stronger due to his evolution, but there was a limit. Steven decided to tie up all his subjects. He saw everyone. All this time, Ava did not leave the dragon. She was the first person he saw after waking up. When he woke up, the elf had lost consciousness and felt ill. The dragon asks her to rest, because she spent all her strength on healing magic. Unexpectedly for him, Chelsea's sympathy grew, for which he received new abilities. The system explained that as he improved, the contract servant would follow his physical development. He has a feeling that someone is parasitizing him. Steven orders the system not to curse him. He had to give Hunter the choice. He could decide on his own ability. The human friend will be the first to hear this story from Hunter. In fact, the girl doesn't want to be here and listen to him. Hunter asks her to look into the eyes, to have manners. After the upgrade, it was impossible not to notice the change in the dragon. It became much larger. Steven just needs to take a few steps and he will be like a young dragon. He flew to Hunter's palace to give him a choice. Spheres with a variety of skills appeared above the dragon's head. The system noted that Steven's ability could be inherited, but its effect would be reduced. Hunter began to remember what he already had, and his choice fell on strengthening his muscle strength. He is grateful to Steven. Now the dragon feels twice as strong. The hunter wanted to talk to the dragon, but it quickly left. Steven didn't want to listen to the endless monologue. While he had free time, he needed to check on Ava. In the palace, the king noted that there was no news about the black dragon. The special envoy was here again. Chloe tries to bring the man to his senses. He needs to pull himself together. The girl has posted ads all over the country. She is looking for those who can challenge the dragon. Peter noticed that the advert was talking about a princess, which they don't have. Chloe reminded that before buying the elf, she gave the king her slave contract. The king was amazed at the girl's intelligence. It was a great idea. Peter reminded that the elf has animal ears and a tail. Her differences are striking. Chloe suggested redrawing the portrait, hiding everything unnecessary. She doesn't care if the winner gets the elf. She will find 100 ways to kill him. In the underground palace, the girl woke up because of the moisture on her cheek. A large ram appeared in place of the dragon. Ava thinks that the master has changed. The dragon was scared when Ava woke up, but was glad that she was not badly hurt. Ava calmed down when she realized that it was all just a bad dream. She imagined the dragon as a ram. This picture would be too cute. Steven was frightened by the elf's thoughts about his transformation into a ram. Ava was shocked that her thoughts were read by the gentleman. She was ashamed. The dragon revealed that this was the only skill that manifested after development. The girl regrets that she can no longer hide her thoughts from her master. Steven started to bully her. Ava doesn't want to be secretly eavesdropped on. A large number of players approached the underground city. The dragon was surprised that it happened so quickly. The underground city is big. The dragon thinks that the players should be given a chance to have fun. He has chosen his path. He needs to meet the uninvited guests. The players were ready to destroy the black dragon with one shot. Many were already fighting with it. Last time Adrian lost, now he has gathered a group of players who are excellent fighters. The girl is sure that they came to the wrong place. There is not a single monster here. Adrian wants to know how she got onto his team. Freya is a sorceress who will soon become a star mage. She can help kill the dragon. Adrian confirmed that they all came at the king's announcement, but they are cooperating with strong players. The girl noted that no one noticed her, so there was no doubt in her abilities. Suddenly, a monster flew out towards the team. The player immediately began to attack it. Freya asks to stop, because the stick with flame could hurt her pet. It was already late. Judging by the appearance, the pet was already dead. The girl is a healer, so she will quickly patch up any wounds of the pet. After demonstrating his skills, Adrian was happy to accept Freya into the team. Steven watched the area, waiting for them to come to him. A letter flew into Adrian's face, which spoke of an underground city. Now he understands why there were no monsters up there. Adrian wants to get all the dragon's treasures. The guy didn't reveal all his plans when Freya asked him questions. Ava was worried about the surprise attack because they were doing nothing. The elf got very angry and accidentally hit the dragon. She needs to be more careful. The dragon will allow enemies to enter a labyrinth from which they will not be able to exit. He sent the hare and the gray wolf into the labyrinth. Steven is going to organize a defense. The gray wolf brought with him not the most ferocious of his relatives. They do not inspire terror. Steven said that in the labyrinth, one can become invisible. The animals will have to block the path of the enemies. The dragon showed where to retreat if you fail to win. He noticed in time that Ava was about to leave with the wolves. The elf wants to protect her master, but she is forbidden to engage in battle. The dragon noticed that Ava had stopped being cautious. Apparently, this is the nature of animals. He didn't forget about Selena, who was also about to join the battle. Now the dragon knows from whom Ava learned such machinations. Steven, together with the ladies, was waiting for the guests to arrive. He felt awkward in this situation. Freya wants to get the dragon's heart. With it, she will receive the status of the head of star magic. She has read many stories about underground cities. She knows exactly where to look for the entrance. Adrian doubts her decision. He points to the clues for the players. The girl blushed. The entrance she had taken for a trap turned out to be true. She immediately hit the player next to her for clouding her judgment. Freya suggests going through each of the doors in the labyrinth to find the correct passage. The girl doesn't like that Adrian is dividing the team. She would never have followed him if it weren't for the dragon's heart. She was already imagining how her father would execute Adrian, when suddenly her path was blocked. It seemed to her that there was a statue of a black dragon standing in front of her. It was very natural. Freya knows that even the best sculptors cannot achieve such curves. Another player noted that the statue looked very strange. The The man developed an allergy to wool, which means there is definitely a living creature here. The whole team was tense after this information. They need to be on guard. Some people were scared by the ugly statue in the corridor and decided to blow it up. Adrian asks them not to do this because their weapons don't work here. They need to get out. The guy asks not to worry. It's just that this statue is getting on his nerves. He felt saliva on his shoulder. The wolf was no longer hiding. Wright immediately used the weapon against the wolf. Everyone on the team was shocked by this. Adrian was unhappy because the guy didn't listen to his orders. Freya asks everyone to follow her. She has found a way out of the labyrinth. Everyone was amazed by the girl's reaction. It turned out that it was not she who was showing the way. Ava noted the quarrel among the players. The dragon knows that soon there will be no time for squabbles in their team. Steven decided to make a spectacular appearance. Everyone should remember his image. Everyone started to panic when the statues started moving. They were always alive. Everyone ran wherever their eyes looked, but it didn't help. Even the birds attacked them. Some were simply carried away. Others were immediately tried to be eaten. The players had nowhere to hide. Adrian urges everyone to stop panicking and remember to carry weapons. The players couldn't calm down. Especially the sight of the black dragon frightened them. Some came to their senses and took up arms to teach the dragon a lesson. Steven easily swallowed the cannonball that was launched at him. There was no effect. By absorbing the core, the dragon's scales became stronger. The players' chances of winning were lost as they were engulfed in dragon fire. The dragon, unlike the team, knows that in a tight space, it is very easy to deal with enemies. Steven fought off a wave of human invasion, and for this, the level of his city's legend rose. He thought it would be difficult, but it turned out to be the opposite. He got new construction functions. As the system explained, the legend level synchronizes the increase of impact and interaction in the underground city. The dragon understands that as he levels up, the coordinates of his city will appear on players' maps. The battle is not over yet. Ava wants to see the end, but Steven calls her with him. Ava will have to leave the cleanup to Archie. They have more important things to do. Freya ran down the corridor for a long time and eventually came to a dead end. She was out of luck. Someone appeared behind her who was ready to kill her with his bare hands. Phil reminded that the ordinary fighters were so useless, they were simply killed. Freya doesn't like that her pet went against her and wants to deal with her. She couldn't resist. All the girl's strength began to leave her body. The former pet reminds that the brave man has more than just the ability to regenerate. Freya is shocked. Her control drug is in Phil's hands. It's time for Phil to pay the girl back for the way she treated him. Steven never thought he would see something like this in his city. No one can surpass him. Ava found the dragon in an awkward situation. He decided to show her the Dark Foundry. The elf noted that the structure in front of her looked unique. The dragon is out of his mind. He wants to get an explanation from the system about where the big Dark Foundry is. His heart was broken because he needed to spend a lot of points to build. Steven wants to find a system that will simply love him. The system tried to explain that all points were distributed fairly and reasonably. The dragon wants to build the foundry for free. This was the last time he compromised. He made a deal with the system when it offered to build the first 100 units of equipment. Steven doesn't understand why he doesn't have equipment or workers in his new foundry. An elderly man came out of the building, ready to carry out the dragon's task. Ava tried to explain to the man that the Dark Lord was standing behind him. He had problems with his eyesight. Louis can't find the dragon. Steven had a feeling that it wasn't worth the money. The dragon said that he wants to get a long sword. He is ready to provide all resources. The man explained that the level of the sword would depend on the material and equipment of the workshop. He noted that with the current equipment, it is possible to cast weapons of the highest level. Louis will be able to forge a divine weapon for his master. The dragon doesn't understand how the system tricked this man into ending up here. For some reason, his last name seems familiar to Steven. He remembered that in ancient times, a dwarf followed the king to light the sacred fire. The dragon thinks that Louis and that gnome are related. Steven has already eaten almost all the golden ore. He will have to try to find materials. He wonders if it would be possible to make a weapon without materials. The man asks him not to joke like that. Louis exclaims that without materials, one must turn to a deity, not a bloodmaster. The dragon remembered that he had many silver chests that were still unopened. At the request of the owner, Archie brought all the chests and keys. The dragon will test his luck. Steven failed to find anything worthwhile, and he lost his faith. Ava sees that the gentleman is very tired. She will help him open the remaining chests. The dragon was happy because the elf found the legendary items. Steven gave Ava the remaining keys so she could continue opening the chests. Luck was on her side. Now he understands what the description of a happy elf means. Ava was very lucky. The girl found the potion she saw in the Pearl Forest. She said that with this potion, you can become human for 1 hour. The dragon thinks to go into the forest to look for these potions so that he can maintain his human form longer. Ava had already imagined her master in human form. The elf threatens that she will no longer talk to the dragon if he continues to read her thoughts. The man was given all the materials found. Lewis had the highest quality materials in front of him. He would make a nice collection of equipment. The dragon wants to make the weapon popular, not improve it. Louis knows that you can mix materials of different qualities to increase strength. He liked the idea of creating a large number of sets. For this, he needed to find metal deposits. The dragon is worried because Lewis doesn't look well. The man noted that one can doubt his eyes, but not his professionalism. Before everyone's eyes, his appearance began to change from a defenseless old man. He turned into a strong man. Lewis asked to bring him a hammer, and the gnomes brought this tool with difficulty. The dragon is shocked that the old dwarf can handle such a heavy hammer. Archie used mental communication to report that all the prisoners had arrived at the location. In prison, Adrian lamented that no one could kill him. Stephen was going to offer him a partnership, but the guy declined the opportunity. The dragon asked his animals to treat the human captive with special respect. He came up with some elaborate tortures for Adrian that Archie would have to carry out. After hearing this, Adrian began to beg to be killed. The dragon asks not to blame him for this, because it was not he who refused to cooperate. The former pet is a brave guardian, but he's afraid to be here. Stephen offered him to obey, otherwise he would crush the prisoner. Phil doesn't understand at what point it is the monster's turn to dominate the continent. He thinks that with his technique he will be able to weaken the dragon. Phil had a plan to escape, so he bowed before the dragon. Stephen was surprised that it happened so quickly. He used dragon blood to make the contract. Phil got his chance and attacked the dragon to weaken it. The dragon was subjected to the abduction technique. The will decision was completed. The subordinate has rebelled against the master, and the process of revealing resistance is underway. Stephen didn't know that the absorption technique could be used in this way. Although some conditions must be met for this to happen, the dragon used his technique. Phil is shocked. The dragon did something to him. His technique is gone. He was crushed. The pet asks Stephen to give him back his strength. To use the acquired skills, the dragon must go through the definition. Phil asks to let him go, at which point Stephen takes away his other powers. As a result, he acquired all sorts of abilities that he didn't need. He finally got the skill to improve. He had been striving for this for a long time. He wonders if he can use the skill to shrink the guns. Ava sees when the dragon thinks strange things. At such moments, he scares her. Looks like there's another recovery skill he hasn't captured. He is willing to wait to gain this skill, during which time Phil will recover on his own. Then the dragon approached the girl, whom he had seen somewhere, but could not remember. The girl was offended that the respected dragon forgot about her. Stephen was surprised when Ava named a man who was already dead. Everyone was scared because together, they thought that a ghost was standing in front of them. One day, Chloe gave Shaylee an item that could change her appearance. This is what she looked like as Heather, the girl who wants to kill the black dragon. Stephen couldn't see the information about her. He's afraid that the ghost really visited him. The girl used her magic to send the dragon to hell. He was severely electrocuted. But the girl is not going to stop there. Stephen was willing to help her if needed, but now he wants to get rid of her. The bracelet broke, so the girl took on her true form. Shaylee doesn't need any help. She wants to avenge her sister. Ava does not stand aside. She warns the dragon about the danger. Shaylee doesn't understand how Ava knows the art of ice when she taught it to Heather herself. The dragon wants to know who dared to stand against the black dragon. Stephen had to explain that her sister died at the hands of Blade, but Shaylee saw the dragon over her body. The elf confirmed that Heather died when the army invaded her territory. The dragon has no reason to lie, and besides, Shaylee is in no position to ask questions. The system reported that the world boss is approaching his territory. The dragon does not like it. He understands that the boss will bring other players with him, and he cannot be allowed to get close. Stephen left everyone. He urgently needs to deal with the worm. It decided to run away from people. The dragon will not allow anyone to come and go from his territory at their own discretion. The worm didn't know who owned this territory. He had to run away from a large number of warriors and magicians. The monster wants to get to his lair. He knows where a lot of good things are. Stephen doesn't want to leave alive those who have nothing to offer him. The dragon sees the worm escaping, but he does not suspect that it wants to lead him to people. The players were unhappy with their behavior, and because of some, the king of worms ran away. They noticed that the boss had returned. Tom asks everyone to prepare for an attack. Everyone was shocked when a dragon appeared in the sky. It was a hidden boss. Stephen liked to look at people like insects. He is not afraid of them. The dragon noticed that the worm had escaped, and he realized that it had been deliberately brought to the people. He decided not to hesitate, so he used fire breath from which no one could escape. People tried to hide from the fire, but it would still get everyone. Some noticed that the corpse of the worm boss was floating in the water. The dragon got rid of it. They tried to look at the information, but they were unable to find the worm's weak points. The dragon easily dealt with someone about whom nothing was known at all. Tom asks everyone to get rid of their fear. they will definitely be able to kill the dragon. The guy wants to take the treasure chest while he can. The dragon burns everything in its path. He wants to see what these elite players are capable of. Tom is confident that they can hold off the wave of fire breath. They need to get into the water. At the right moment, the players used chains to shackle the dragon. That was a great job. They need to bring the dragon down to earth. Steven decided to fulfill their wish. He quickly fell into the water and pulled everyone along with him. He broke the chains. Now the dragon can play with the players. Tom will never be without fighting spirit. Today, he will give the dragon a try of the famous technique. He managed to deal 1 point of damage. His great technique didn't help for the first time in his life. Steven felt a prick. He wants to know who did it. They couldn't even break through the defense. It looks like they are facing an invincible monster of this game. One of them heard a whisper like the sound of a god. It was a trick of a first-class player. Tom tried to use a firearm against the dragon. Steven watched the bullets flying towards him. Everyone began to feel hopeful as the dragon's life bar began to decrease. They rushed to attack, but stopped because their enemy's health was restored. The players had no intention of running away, but they noticed Tom secretly carrying away the treasure chest. Steven will not allow himself to be deceived. He had difficulty finding the chest that was stolen from him. Tom successfully dodged the dragon's fire. He won't give this chest to anyone. The guy started to make fun of the dragon because it couldn't hit him. Suddenly, a man landed on top of him. It was unexpected for everyone. The man wants to know how a warrior can be so blinded by his desires. He was very lucky to meet a hidden boss in the form of a black dragon. Steven noted that the man wanted to die at his hands again. Charlie used a knife to cut his throat. He needed to let his own blood. The dragon had never seen anyone kill themselves. The man drank his own blood. He had some kind of plan that no one understood. Thanks to the actions taken, Charlie became stronger and can now fight. People watched this battle and were surprised when they saw Charlie. Tom told about rumors that this man killed a lot of animals. The lower the blood level, the more damage it does. The man causes an invincible block. The guy doesn't understand why they can't be as strong. The man uses his most powerful blow, after which no one has ever survived. They clashed in a terrible battle, each strong in his own way. Players cannot figure out who ultimately won this battle. Everyone was surprised when a girl appeared in place of the black dragon. She attacked the man, but Charlie can't attack her. People were disappointed. Their hopes for victory were quickly dashed. Steven didn't know he was sealed, but he received an unexpected bonus in the form of damage resistance. Charlie attracts the dragon's attention, his blood level dropping to 5%. Players are confident that Charlie can become a powerful, brave man in the future. Thanks to the dragon, the man became invulnerable. All attacks against him would be useless. He has 10 seconds to get rid of the dragon. Players want to help the man because he is not alone in the battle. Charlie delivered a crushing blow, but it missed the dragon. The boss was nowhere to be found. Steven noted that 10 seconds had passed. Now it was his turn to use spells. Players need to run because the water has started to rise onto the shore. The dragon decided to add heat to all the players. He will make them suffer. He enjoyed watching people suffer, especially players who were pretty good. Now he can return to his treasure. Ava is waiting for him. This was not the end. One of the survivors decided to attack the dragon. Steven used his abilities to find the invisible player. The guy never thought that his skills would be so powerful that no one would be able to find him. Idun doesn't understand what's happening. It's become unbearably hot around him. He was shocked when he saw the dragon, who easily found him. He needs to run away from the boss quickly. In his opinion, the dragon will not be able to catch up with him. Much to his regret, Steven is always by his side. If Eden had known, he would never have attacked such a strong dragon. He decided to ask for forgiveness for accidentally wounding him with a sword, in the hope that the dragon would let him go. Steven will make sure this guy dies, but first he needs to get more use out of him. The dragon asked the boy to open the chest, otherwise he would turn him to ashes. Eden is surprised by the boss's desire and wants to understand what exactly he wants to get. He needs to stay alive because dragons are a treacherous race. He agreed to open the chest, but only if the dragon promised not to touch him. Steven is ready to sign a contract with the guy to calm him down. Eden senses something is wrong with this situation, but he has no choice. The dragon attacked the guy when he inserted the key. He still didn't break the contract. He liked it. The dragon thinks that it will be possible to attract Chinese players to the kitchen in the city. He understands that it is very important to know the talents of each camp as his life depends on it. In the chest, Steven found items of the highest class. Luck was on his side. There were so many amazing things in it that he needed to study them carefully. He became curious about what would happen if he placed a living being in a spatial ring. Unfortunately, the players nearby were dead. Otherwise, he could have checked everything right away. According to the manual, the dragon outpost is the first line of defense for the entire dungeon. He got angry because he needed to make and collect materials for the building. The dragon warns that such a greedy system could be brought to Cosmic Court. Steven decided to ask the system a couple of questions to test its attitude towards the consumption of resources from the chests. The dragon was angry because everything he needed could be found in the system. He doesn't like being forced to exchange system points. The system noted that the owner could slowly collect materials rather than buy them. Steven wants to get a 95% discount, but it's impossible. Then the dragon began to threaten that he would not use the system without at least a 50% discount. In the evening, the dragon was informed that some materials had been collected and the conditions had been met. The dragon confirmed the location where construction should begin. Steven noticed that the tower had a fingerprint unlock. As expected, the outpost is completely hidden under a curtain of light. No one will notice it. He was glad that when passing through the outpost, the enemies would be teleported. The dragon doesn't understand whether the outpost is just a copy of the dungeon. Steven read that thanks to the outpost, few people would be able to get into his city. An elite of creatures were chosen to form the outpost's first line of defense. True, this lineup lacks someone who is capable of healing. The dragon has confirmed its choice. The fiery creatures and dog-headed ones will stand up for defense. He decided to enter the outpost to feel the power of the creatures. Steven wants to make his own changes to the structure of the troops so that they are not an easy target. The dragon came up with a new tactic that would make the fight last 3 minutes. It turns out he needs to give out gear to players, which defeats all purposes. The system explained that players would come here for profit, and the dragon agreed. He can create equipment or materials as much as his heart desires. The dragon has developed 2 methods that can be used against players. Steven chose several types of radishes, which can lead to different consequences. Everyone had an announcement about a new object. Eden got angry because of the mention of a dragon. He lost 1 resurrection, but it was not in vain. The abilities of the population are much greater than what was described. Ava felt power surge through her entire body. The dragon was surprised by such a sharp reaction, but everything was not so bad. The elf's appearance changed, and thanks to her wings, she began to fly. Steven didn't think that his strengthening could change the appearance of his subjects. With a shield and a devastating strike, the Dragon Knight can be useful in battle. Hunter suddenly appeared. Steven asks to tell about what happened in a few words. The dragon was told that 1 low-level prisoner would not confess. Hunter received a scroll of an updated quest. He will have to improve the dungeon. Ava received a beautiful ring from the gentleman and could not take her eyes off it. Steven admitted that the real gift was inside the ring. The dragon didn't want Hunter to watch them, so he threw him out of the cave. Ava didn't like how the gentleman treated the innocent Hunter, who just wanted to share the joy with them. Inside, the elf found a dress that immediately captured her heart. The dragon chose a dress that could regulate temperature to make the elf comfortable. Ava pretended to believe in his concern and flew away from him. Spring has come. It's time for a wonderful feeling. He is angry that he cannot pass through the doors because he made them to please the residents. Steven won't let Ava go. He wants to see her right now. Hunter doesn't understand why the owner kicked him out. It hurt his feelings. He thought that he was being motivated in this way. He had to show himself from the best side. After Hunter returned, Adrian agreed to tell everything he knew, just so that he would be released. While Steven was spending time with Ava, Hunter burst into the room to tell him about his success. The dragon noted the good work of his servant, but he does not like being distracted. The players arrived at the Black Dragon outpost and do not understand why they came here. The girl read that after passing the outpost, it would be possible to get into the dungeon to get better equipment. Sometimes they can't understand whether this world is real or it's all a game. The guy likes being the invader here, especially since in the game they don't have to worry about anything. The team decided to go through the portal, as their numbers allowed them to do so. Inside, some wanted to go back, but Patrick has no intention of stopping. After the monster appeared, the girl started to run. Patrick asks everyone to gather. The dragon simply sat and received system points for the team that decided to try their hand. A girl came to him who prepared today's lesson. Shaylee has apologized for the false accusations, now knowing that her sister passed away peacefully. Steven told Ava that she would now be learning magic so that her talent could be put to good use. The elf believes that she is not capable of anything and that she cannot cast spells. The dragon is confident that Ava will be able to reveal herself through lessons. The girl reminded that the dragon had deceived her once. He felt ashamed. At that moment, a special character called him, so he decided to respond. First, he needs to select the full or split teleportation mode. It turns out that the choice determines how much damage the dragon will receive. He chose teleportation with minimal damage, but it requires spending points. At the Colosseum, Sabrina promises to feed the beast for everything he will do to the victim now. The lion dealt cruelly with the girl. He had to tear her to pieces. She wants to see the girl suffer. The beast's bloodthirstiness amuses her. People are wondering if Sabrina is going to kill this poor woman. Sabrina knows that no one will worry about her, so she doesn't worry about the consequences. She asked to release the dragon onto the battlefield. She wants to see something more interesting. The dragon drooled at the sight of the wounded woman. He had been waiting for this moment for a long time. The girl wonders if the victim will be able to heal after meeting the dragon. Sabrina did not hide the cruelty of her intentions, and those around her were shocked by her desires. The victim prays to everyone. She is ready to be a slave until the end of her days for salvation. The contract was concluded and our dragon appeared on the field. He didn't understand why people in the arena were afraid of such a beautiful dragon. By accident, he stepped on the body, which was torn to pieces. Despite all the injuries, the girl was still alive. Stephen is shocked by the willpower of this poor woman. She definitely wants to live. He realized that it was not the dragon who had cowered in fear, who had called him, but the poor elf. The dragon does not want to leave anyone alive. He will gladly kill everyone present. People run in different directions. Some are ready to walk over heads to save themselves. Sabrina needs to calm down. Some are hoping it was her pet. The girl honestly admitted that this dragon appeared here by accident. People started asking to gather the guards of the Colosseum. They must stop the black dragon. She won't allow anyone to boss her around. The guards guarding the Colosseum are the best, but even they cannot hold back the dragon. Sabrina realizes that such a dragon must be fought by a sufficiently strong knight. The girl used the spatial ring to send a letter calling for help. Now she just has to wait for the arrival of the Knights of the Golden Order, who will definitely deal with the dragon. Stephen wants to find a way to bring the elf to his senses. After the proposed option, the dragon believes that the system has admitted that it was wrong. He used his blood to help the girl recover. Knights appeared on the field and assessed the size of their new enemy. They prepared crossbows against the dragon, even though they are afraid. They will not retreat. Stephen hears some conversations. He scares everyone with just one look. After the firing signal, the chief rushed at the dragon. He wants to kill it with one blow. It was a crime against the great dragon, so he decided to teach the leader a lesson. The guy lost all his defense, but he didn't stop. Now he wants to avenge the shame. Stephen became curious about how exactly the guy wanted to die. A newcomer appeared on the field and immediately rushed towards the enemy. The dragon is surprised that the knight does not use all his strength, but was able to penetrate his armor. The boy understands from the dragon's aura that he has not yet reached adulthood, but his armor exceeds all expectations. Stephen learned that the knight standing before him was a knight of the Golden Order, so his strength does not surprise him. Austin is ready to throw as many punches as necessary. This was the first character who was able to hurt the dragon. He had to fly away. He needed a real body for this battle. Stephen is grateful for the clairvoyant technique, so he can avoid problems. He was followed by a projectile that always hits its target. Luckily, he has an ability that can disable weapons, but unfortunately, the dragon's word did not defuse this projectile. The shells hit him. There was no end to them. The dragon tries to dodge them. When he saw that the spear was made of wood, he understood why his skill didn't work. It was a disaster. He was lucky that his body wasn't here. Stephen found a cave where no one would notice him, but he forgot something. The moment with the elf flew out of his head. All this time she was in his arms. She was alive, he thinks, to kill her to get the ability to recover. The dragon used the grip, so he became more resistant to the pain of bleeding. Stephen can't believe he couldn't take away his healing ability. He tried several times, but nothing worked, so he wants to kill her even more. The dragon decided to leave her alive. He needs to restore his strength. Phil asks to return all his powers. He began to insult the dragon, but he only likes it. Stephen won't be able to take away the last ability because his spirit has been strengthened by constant restorations. Phil realizes that the dragon is asking to be cured, so he wants to kill himself. The dragon decided to explain to him that in this prison the feeling of pain increases. Stephen summoned the beast and asked it to provide the guest with the best service. The dog promises to do everything to make the guests feel at home. Phil reminded everyone that he had been through so much pain that he had developed a resilience to it. Then a new invention was shown that will not leave anyone indifferent. He showed another torture kit, and the guest can make his own choice. Archie warns that he can do everything at his own discretion. After the third set was selected, additional items were brought into the room. Phil was put in a bag. He didn't expect anything else to be brought here. He started calling for help. Phil promised to do whatever was required of him. Phil apologized for challenging the dragon's authority. After all the torment, he used the power of restoration. His soul began to collapse. Stephen had thought about making him a hospital worker, but now he's leaning towards taking over his recovery technique. The system warned him that this should not be done, because it would harm the user's mind and soul. Today, Sheely will be talking about the element of water. Her students can practice. At first, Selena was able to control the water. She was happy. But the happiness didn't last long, as Shaylee reminds us that failure is always part of learning. Ava had a good result. She can even change the shape of the spheres. Shaylee is shocked that she was able to do everything in such a short period of time. She admitted that she had never seen such a gifted magician. The girl herself, according to her, mastered the water element in just an hour. Ava realizes that she still has a lot to learn. She's not that good at it. The elf decided to try to summon water elementals to communicate with them. She managed to do it on the first try. Even Shaylee wasn't able to do it at the very beginning. She felt ashamed of herself when the novice summoner summoned the leader of the water elements. Shaylee, at the request of the elf, must see if everything is okay with this water creature. The girl said that Ava's spell was imperfect, but there was no need to make corrections. She feels like she's not up to par with the normal summoning of the water element, and it's hard for her to control the element. Shaylee reassures her she did the right thing by not letting more power in. Ava noticed that Shaylee's face had changed and offered to help her, but the girl refused. The elf watched as her teacher ran away, and finally the dragon came up. He tried to calm Ava down. Shaylee doesn't hold a grudge against her. Steven asked to send the water elementals back. They take up a lot of space. Ava wants to believe that the dragon liked her work and is pleased. The dragon doesn't understand how the girl didn't notice that Shaylee ran away out of shame. He asked Ava to take Selena to the underground river. She needs to train. She should be more concerned about whether she passed the test. Ava will do everything that the master asks her to do. She will help her friend. Steven forgot something again, but he really doesn't want to think about it. In the cave, the girl came to her senses and remembered how she was torn to pieces. She didn't immediately notice that her limbs had changed. It seemed like she was becoming a monster. The stranger is even happy about this, so she can kill those who mocked her. At this time, Steven gave himself to Ava. They were good together. It was all just a dream. The stranger stumbled upon it while looking for a way out. He became angry at the one who disturbed the sleep of the great dragon. The girl fell in front of him and began to ask for forgiveness for everything she had done. Steven noticed that his blood had combined with the girl and had actually changed her body. He checked her information and saw that she was no longer human. The system started playing riddles with him. It offers him to do something for a reward. The dragon learned that such characters don't even have a name. He may assume that he will receive the ability to recover as a reward. Steven decided to forgive her. He is ready to fulfill one of her wishes. She was extremely happy. She needs to be more careful in her choices. The girl knows that she wants to kill the one who harmed her mother. The dragon agreed to do this. He needs to find out who her main enemy is. She told how the king used her mother, who was forced to live in conditions of violence. The girl remembers how the king took her away from her mother. It was terrible. Her mother was killed to keep her silent. And the girl herself cannot leave the country because of the royal family. All these years she was imprisoned in the palace. It seems she was kept alive because of her ability to recover. Today was the day she came of age, and she was taken to the Colosseum to be killed. Unfortunately, the dragon knows that he cannot defeat this king. Even in this real body, it will be a test. The king has many powerful people. In the palace, the king was disappointed with the girl's behavior. He could not control himself. Sabrina was simply mistaken. Her father told her that he could not lose the girl. He knows what Sabrina did with his precious material. The girl said that a dragon appeared in the Colosseum and took away her other daughter. Peter was furious. His daughter never knows anything. Sabrina started talking about how beautiful her father's boots were, and how no one else had them. The man asked to make a blindfold for his daughter. Next time he will gouge out her eyes. In the negotiation hall, the king was unhappy that his people had allowed the dragon to take the material. The knights asked not to be angry with them. The dragon appeared suddenly. Peter knows a lot about magicians, so he understands how difficult it is to open teleportation. The man noted that there were no signs of teleportation in the Colosseum, but there were other ways of moving. Peter was shown a description of spiritual magic that could summon a king from another place. He noted that after the call, a vibration occurs in space, through which the king arrives. The Colosseum has traces of space vibrations, which is how the dragon could have appeared to them. Peter realizes that the ritual material remained with the dragon and must be found. The man will be assisted by knights from the Golden Order. He must cope with the task. The girl is not going to change her desire even after the dragon says that it will be difficult. Steven doesn't like her and wants to get rid of her without fulfilling her wish. Unfortunately, he had to do this. The dragon regretted that he had promised to fulfill his promise. He has no time limit, and he is not told that he has to do it himself. Steven admitted that he did not have enough strength to overthrow the king. The girl must take revenge herself. He said that the girl could release the dragon's power. The girl can create her own army, with which she can turn the country upside down. She knows those who would gladly kill the king. The girl accepted all the dragon's instructions. Steven is glad that the girl understood everything. He managed to get rid of her. He promises to cover her back, tells different examples of when something small can overthrow something great. The girl asks to give her a name. It is an honor for her. She will follow him forever. Now her name is Sina. She must be calm in the face of the enemy. It was the first name in her life. She is grateful to the dragon for it. Steven feels like the girl wants too much when she's walking towards certain death. If he was strong enough, he would be able to fight a level 8 knight. The dragon asks the system to move it back to its lair. Because of the unfulfilled contract, he cannot return. The system forces him to help. He is ready to fly to the lair himself. The enemy kingdom is not far away. Steven is shocked. He saw on the map that he was surrounded by enemies, and no one warned him about it. He started to have hysterics. His main enemy is the Knight of the Golden Order. In another mountain, a dark magic teacher was watching our dragon. She was informed that the crossbows against dragons were finally ready. Stephanie asked to move them and aim straight at the mountain. She is confident that the arrows will be able to drive the black dragon out of its lair. Stephanie told about the threads that form 5 spells. All together they can kill the dragon. The girl reported that the air barrier had been restored. The knights will only have 10 minutes to deal with the dragon. They will delay it after using arrows. Stephanie asks everyone to get ready. They begin the offensive. Everyone in the lair felt the ground shake. Sina immediately thought about their death. The dragon grabbed the girls and flew out of the cave, but he can't stay in the air properly. He was shocked when he saw that the space restriction was in effect. The arrows hit the target and he had to land quickly. The girls were scared when Steven started threatening to kill everyone. Stephanie was amazed that the dragon protected the girls without them. He would have been able to avoid being injured. She asks to aim straight at the dragon's heart, so that victory will be on their side. The knights brace themselves for the dragon's fiery breath. The front line must carry it away. They need to use a shield to block the flames. The rest will throw chains. Steven isn't afraid of these chains. He has a great anti-weapon spell. The priest dispelled the dragon's magic and he was attacked and badly wounded. He doesn't want to tolerate this bullying. The dragon uses flames to quickly turn everyone into ashes. The knights use their abilities so the fire won't reach them. Steven noticed that these chains were designed specifically for huge creatures. The men saw the dragon breaking the chains. They must stop him quickly. They began to flicker before the dragon's eyes. Steven listened to the insults directed at him. The man wants to find the enemy's weak spot because the dragon has crossed all boundaries. He thinks that the red crystal on his back is the weak spot that the dragon will protect. The knight's terrible behavior made Steven furious. He was fed up with these insects. The dragon uses various abilities to make people leave him alone. The man missed the fact that the dragon in front of them was quite smart. He is sure that their enemy may not resist. It is all pointless. The light of the sword was filled with the grief and rage of the dragon race. Steven saw the memories of the dead souls. The owner mastered the dragon's word and gained royal power. He managed to repel all the knight's attacks. He will not allow himself to be hurt. Everyone was shocked because no dragon had ever survived such an attack. Steven lost his temper and wanted everyone who attacked him to suffer. The knights try to escape from the dragon's attacks. Everyone was scared. With the word of the dragon, he gains power over the environment. The enemy is brought to justice. He doesn't understand why his level suddenly increased, but he understands the effect of the skill he received. While the dragon's word is active, no one can hit him, and enemies must be twice as strong as him to attack. Now all who attacked him must prepare for the dragon's wrath. All mages on command use shields against fire. They must protect themselves. But nothing worked. The shield straightened out. The guy calls for help. Steven saw that a knight was running towards him from an ambush. He was ready for it. The dragon quickly dealt with the man, who asks everyone to leave. He will not allow those who attacked them to escape. Everyone must feel his wrath. Steven will watch as everyone tastes a stream of his breath. Seals appeared around him, preventing the dragon from moving. A sage of space appeared in the sky. He was one of the most powerful magicians. The man told everyone that His Majesty was disappointed. The knights didn't think they would face such a strong dragon. Henry asks them to wait for punishment. The man can no longer use spatial confinement. They have one attempt to attack. The guy calms him down. They are ready to shoot a crossbow at any moment. Steven cannot stand against the weapons of men. He thinks that the king bears a grudge against him. He asked the system to generate a reliable system. He feels the arrows will fly soon. The system can transfer his body along with Ava. The dragon could not talk to her normally. There is a possibility that he can't kill Ava. He wants to believe in the system's miscalculation. The system is mocking him. He needs to spend points again. After all the explanations, Steven agreed to activate the teleportation. Henry can't miss the opportunity to attack the dragon. They have to kill it. Ava immediately felt the master calling her. She must drop everything she was doing. The elf immediately realized that the dragon was in danger. She managed to summon a powerful water elemental. The dragon was amazed by this. The elemental immediately noticed that there were delicious offers for him here. A dragon's arrow flew straight at him, and the elemental quickly dodged it. Ava put her safety on the line to protect the dragon. Henry doesn't believe that a first-level mage was capable of such a thing. He needs to quickly use a life potion to recover from all the attacks. He wants to resist the fire that the dragon sent at him in anger. Ava will not allow anyone who harmed the dragon to continue to exist. Henry noted the elf's talent. She will become a danger to the human race. The man decided to use a dimensional prison to prevent Ava from attacking. The girl needs to think quickly about what to do. She is trapped. Steven will not leave her alone. He will help Ava in the battle. The dragon uses the skills he acquired in this battle. Henry noticed that his spells were greatly weakened by the dragon's proximity. Their powers are equal. He realizes that the dragon is not summoning elementals from his surroundings. He can control the black dragon, which was weakened by the fields. He doesn't have much magic left, but with his experience, he can defeat the enemy. The man found the best moment when he could kill the dragon. He asked Stephanie to use the crossbows. He would make sure the arrows hit the target. Stephen noticed that the magician was trying to escape. He wanted to get rid of him. The dragon cannot miss such an opportunity to get rid of a strong opponent. Henry doesn't like this primitive race of dragons with claws and teeth. He is ready to play with the dragon since he wants it so much. In close combat, the man knows he can limit the dragon's movements. Stephen noted that it was a good idea to use his breath as a shield against the dragon's breath. In that case, he decided to use his other abilities, which the shield might not be able to withstand. The man moved and managed to suddenly attack the dragon. All this time, Ava has been helping the dragon. She uses magic that she learned recently. She tried to lure the man into a trap, with different elements surrounding him on both sides. Henry was ready for this old trick. He quickly created a portal to travel. All the fire hit the elemental, and it became ill because of this. Ava is upset because her plan didn't work. She needs to come up with something. Henry continued to damage the dragon. Stephen was unable to dodge the attacks. He simply couldn't touch the mage. And unfortunately, his powers combined with Ava's were not enough to win. The dragon underestimated his enemy. Even without powers, the magician will be able to control him. Stephen used a skill that allowed him to find the man who had become invisible. Henry didn't understand how the dragon knew where he would stop. Luckily, he had a life shield that could withstand any attack. The dragon had a plan. He needed to unite the enemy with the arrow. At the right moment, he let go of the magician. The arrow flew straight at him. That was the end of him. Stephanie didn't believe it was possible. She didn't want anyone but the dragon to get hurt. The arrow destroyed the man's shield. His whole life collapsed in an instant. Ava was worried about the dragon's condition and was ready to treat him. They finally dealt with the mage who had caused so much trouble. There were many statues in the palace. The one that belonged to the magician began to crack after his death. Peter didn't understand how the dragon could get rid of the spatial mage. People with a wide variety of abilities appeared in the room. The king asked them to bring to him the one who got rid of the magician. He wanted them to kill the dragon and bring back a girl who could regenerate. Stephanie ran from this team. She knows she will be killed. The girl wanted to hide, but suddenly she was electrocuted and got caught. The man brought a girl who shot a dragon arrow at the magician. She began to justify herself, saying that it was all an accident. The girl was aiming at the dragon. The king was not going to believe it. He knew that the dragon would definitely not be able to cope with the magician. Stephanie told the truth, but no one believed her, and she was ordered to be taken to purgatory. The girl admitted that they cannot track the dragon's location. With difficulty, she said that the girl might be dead. Peter knew that with her healing ability, this couldn't happen. She explained that using hair for tracking had been fruitless due to a loss of connection. It seemed to her that the girl's pedigree could have changed. But this was impossible in such a short period of time. The king hated the dragon, who constantly interfered with his plans. Meanwhile, Stephen was destroying the kingdom's fortresses, and they found the remains of a corpse. Sina saw the insignia on the skeletons. They were soldiers of the kingdom. The girl noted that the soldiers were buried by other people, and there was something wrong with the bodies. She explained that these bodies could belong to the undead. Stephen wanted to believe that all this about ghosts and the undead was a joke. Sina noticed that the corpse had not changed because the other undead had some kind of intelligence. She also saw that these soldiers died not only from weapons, but also from magical wounds. The dragon thought that the soldiers were killed by people from outside. He spoke about aliens who were endowed with the power of resurrection. Ava started to worry about her brother's house. She wanted to help. Stephen allowed the dogheads to sleep with them to prevent them from committing suicide. He called enemies uninvited guests in this world who could be resurrected. Sina was sure that resurrection was impossible. The very thought of it frightened her. Stephen explained that these invaders cannot come back to life forever. According to him, they have always been their enemies. They always need to be killed. The first fortress was captured. He wanted to know about the defense created by people. Sina talked about the various cities that are nearby. The dragon went to the city of Silver Light, and the undead appeared on the way. In the city, Stephen found a dead protector. This happened recently. They found human corpses. Sina noted the cruelty of the aliens. There were no enemies here. The girl understood that the enemies would quickly invade and destroy everything. The dragon suggested going to another city. Perhaps there was a war going on there. Where Stephen was, the corpses stood up. Something was affecting them. Carter repelled any attacks against him. He was a delight just by his appearance. The king was not sure that they could hold the city with the men they had. The guy asked him to let go of all fears and pitiful hopes. Peter's condition would depend on the city. Peter was informed that the enemy was approaching quickly, and they would not have time to hide. The king asks the knight to be silent. He himself saw what a terrible situation they were in. He was also told that the enemy was filling up all the trenches that had been created. Water gushed over the people, and it was unclear where it came from. Carter admitted that he had asked his men to dig a ditch to bring water here. Stephen didn't expect that the soldiers of the Polar Bear City were still holding the line. He asked them not to rush into attack. They needed to wait before engaging in battle. The boy knew that in the face of absolute power, no strategy was worth the effort. The king ordered to freeze the moat and move on. The enemy magicians were advancing. He noted that the siege was coming to an end. The guy wanted to kill the king. Peter was incredibly scared and said goodbye to his life. Suddenly, a girl appeared in front of him and intercepted the sword. Sina noticed that the human king here needed help. The girl dealt with all the enemies on her own. No one can harm her. Peter promised to do everything in his power for the fact that Sina literally saved his life. Carter wanted to know who the girl was who had just saved the king. She came here to save everyone. Besides, they have a common enemy. The guy was most interested in who Sina called the common enemy. Despite the attack, Sina spoke about people from outside who appear out of thin air. The girl noted that together, they can defeat another common enemy. Carter was surprised that Sina knew everything about him and his enemies. He decided to believe her and trust her, but it would be temporary. The guy noted that it would be difficult for them to repel the enemy attack. He would rather die here. If Sina says she can save, she means it. Everyone was shocked when she bled herself. With her blood, she summoned the king who slept in darkness to bring death and plague to their enemies. The enemies lost their heads when they saw such a beautiful girl. An earthquake began, and the shockwave scattered everyone in different directions. After the servant was summoned, a dragon appeared, ready to destroy everyone. Stephen felt ashamed of everything he had just said. It was an unfortunate phrase. Sina was shocked when the enemy broke into the city. The enemies began to think that the black dragon was on their side, because he made a passage for them into the city. Stephen didn't expect the wall to be so fragile. He wasn't going to help the enemy. The dragon quickly figured out what to do. His fire breath rarely let him down. The opponents did not expect the dragon to attack them. They were hot. Larry asks everyone to hide behind the dragon because he definitely won't burn himself. Stephen appreciated the people's attempt to attack the great dragon. He would simply crush everyone. The general was informed that their plan had failed, and they had lost many men. It dawned on Larry that they wouldn't be able to take over the city. The dragon was too smart. He ordered everyone to retreat. The lives of their great warriors were priceless. They didn't notice how the general set off first. Some didn't even have time to take a step. Stephen didn't want anyone to escape. His fire would get everyone. By this time, Larry had reached the wasteland. His animal did not want to move further. He wondered why the animal had suddenly started to strike. The guy felt uncomfortable here. It seemed to him that it would rain soon. He demanded that the birds start moving. It should not be afraid of a simple thunderstorm. The bird decided not to follow the guy's orders. She threw him off so that she could run away alone. Larry noticed that the things from the system store didn't help him either. The earth began to shake. The guy was the first to see a crowd of undead. He warned everyone in his path that the undead were approaching, and that everyone needed to run away. People didn't believe him because there couldn't be any undead on the remote peninsula. Larry had no intention of leading them back to the dragon. He just wanted to escape the undead. They believed in the undead when they saw them. There were too many enemies. One of them suggested fighting the dragon. They would still be able to resurrect. Larry didn't want to die after everything he had achieved, and the powers of the undead began to affect him. The guy's speed decreased. His willpower did not help in resisting. He was immobilized. Due to the absorption of the undead's grievances, the guy was unable to fight them. An undead creature appeared next to him, which seemed quite familiar to him. In one of them, Larry saw a tailor's daughter who became undead for the sake of revenge. The guy was sure that the undead would not be able to kill him. They would not do anything to him. He didn't need to explain anything, because the dead have no mind. He didn't expect that the undead would pass on a curse to him that couldn't be removed by resurrection. He needs to buy something from the store to be able to take it off. It seems he agreed that resurrection corrects all anomalies. He needs to buy a divine cleansing potion to completely remove the curse. The undead did not stop. It struck the guy so that he continued to suffer. There were many undead. They were heading towards the dragon. Ava said that there were undead on the horizon, and they needed to do something. Stephen was surprised that the corpses of the Silver City turned into undead so quickly. This undead was awakened by another, more powerful undead, without rituals. Sina thought about everything that was said. Ava thought that they also needed to attack the undead. The dragon showed that clouds of death appeared in the air, causing everyone to lose their strength. The girl doesn't know what to do. The undead are a mixture of breath and necrotic rage. Stephen will retreat to the Polar Bear City. Ava and Sina will help with the construction. They need to build walls. Now the girl hopes that the king believes in solving all her problems. The man is grateful for the help he receives to fight off the invaders. Peter was ready to share the power and wealth of the kingdom, but Sina didn't want to think about it now. The king became frightened after hearing about the undead who could not reach him. The girl wants the king to immediately start building a new defense system. The king saw Ava as an elf who seduced the black dragon. Peter remembers that this elf was too sick and could not survive. The king knows that no one can survive next to the dragon. It's all just a coincidence. The guy could kill everyone when they were alive. Now he can do it all again. Suddenly, something strange flew towards him. This thing was in his body. He received his curse, thanks to which the boy will feel the pain of the death of the undead. Almost immediately, the strong-willed decision was failed. The guy will feel the whole spectrum of emotions of the undead. It was unbearable, as if he was being cut from the inside. The undead dealt with everyone who stood in their way. Stephen noticed that the players were disappearing, but the accumulation of resentment was only growing. He remembered the ring he found with Selena on the corpse. He was smart enough to leave this ring. It can absorb this zombie aura. With the help of the ring, the dragon began to absorb all the dark aura. His plan worked perfectly. He was glad that the ring was with him all this time. The undead do not stop. They call everyone to move forward. They use their abilities, which have an impact on everyone. The ring in the dragon's paws has cracked, and it alone will not be enough here. Because of the undead's scream, Stephen can't fly. He started falling down towards the zombies. People don't understand why the undead on horseback looks so familiar. Ava noticed the dragon's strange behavior and changed her appearance to help him. Her way is blocked. The man does not want Ava to get down to business. The elf asked him to leave because the undead were going to harm him. The man said that it was his friend and he wanted to test his memory. She had to agree. She gave the man 2 minutes to check. Then there would be an attack. Sina thinks they should attack directly. Ava lets the man test his guess. The undead began to speak the name after his friend began to speak to him. The man was happy and continued to tell about various moments when they spent time together. The undead laughed at the man. He was not his friend. The girl felt awkward because the undead had so easily deceived the man. The dragon remembers that there was a village of players ahead, but now the undead have found them. The knights were happy. They survived. Now they want to return home. Everyone thanked the girls for their help. Without them, this city would have been destroyed. Peter began to make plans to expand his kingdom. There is a dragon looming over him. He doesn't know why it treats him so negatively. Stephen recalled how the king set a trap and tried to kill the black dragon. He remembered how he attacked a 3rd-level young dragon a month ago. Peter thought that the former was a relative of the dragon standing in front of him. Stephen decided to agree with this. He pointed out that the king must now offer compensation. Peter granted him the status of protector of this kingdom, equal to him in status. The dragon wants to gain the power of the king. The man will have to become his puppet. The man wants to save his life, so he is ready to become the dragon's servant. Stephen likes it and has prepared a contract for it. The king simply has no choice, otherwise death awaits him. The dragon gained control of the human country, and his legend increased. He didn't expect any big rewards, so the points he received were enough for him. The dragon feels that the king only controls the facade, while the real power belongs to someone else. He calls it stupidity to want to go on a campaign when you can't even defend your own kingdom. Sina said that the undead army had changed its direction. The dragon asks Sina to return with the soldiers. She can persuade them to join him. He himself needs to fly away on some business. Later, they will all meet. Larry had a hard time with a curse that constantly caused babies to be born inside him. He spent a lot of aggression points to buy potions, but they don't help him. They came to him with bad news. The undead were going to attack their city. The knight will not lie to the chief. He asks to establish defense. Larry didn't think that after his restoration the undead would attack so soon. The guy explains his loss by saying that all the magicians were crushed by the dragon. Now they have a city of players to protect. Everyone must follow Larry. A notification has appeared stating that all players will lose their chance to be resurrected if the city is destroyed. Larry encourages everyone. They can easily defeat these undead. The enemies have approached the city border. They want to destroy absolutely everything here. The undead spread fear to players to make them lose confidence. The girl began to doubt that they would be able to get rid of all the undead. Larry will not allow this city to be destroyed. He is sure that the enemies will not be able to resist their fire magic. The system noted that when the city was destroyed, the dragon would increase its influence only slightly. The dragon read that all this would not affect the ability to obtain the city core. This time he can be sure that nothing will stop him from destroying the city. Some guy noticed that a dragon appeared in the sky. He warns everyone nearby. He noticed that the dragon's fire was flying straight towards the priests. Larry doesn't understand why no one warned about the dragon, but it doesn't seem to show up on the map. The guy is sure that the dragon will attack not only them, but also the undead. Everyone needs to return to their homes. Stephen was surprised when everyone returned to their homes, which were essentially their trap. He was amazed when the house remained unchanged by his fire. He managed to destroy the house with brute force, after which the undead burst in. The undead do all the dragon's dirty work. He simply destroys the city itself. Using his abilities, he saw 2 players decide to dig a tunnel to escape. Steven specifically found a way out of this tunnel. He decided to deal with them right there. With the help of the undead, all the players were destroyed, and the dragon received a fragment of the city's core. This core appeared near the undead. It should not touch him. Steven flew as fast as he could. He had to get that core. The undead were faster. The skeleton decided to use the core for his own purposes. The dragon did not have time to prevent this. He wanted to pull the core out of the skeleton. As a result, he was thrown back by the shockwave, and after being absorbed, the skeleton exploded. After the explosion, he found himself in a cemetery. The enemy activated a barrier through which the dragon cannot pass. A large hand appeared from nowhere and quickly destroyed this barrier. Everyone read the notice about the appearance of a new boss named Bob. The skeleton knight has a large army of undead and already has his own territory. Eden noticed that this time the boss was not just strong. He easily destroyed all the players in the village. The guy wants to get the treasure chest of the world boss. He will kill him with his sword. The other players were serious and had a new goal. Carter was making sure that no one disturbed the king's peace. He immediately noticed someone approaching. Sina was not surprised by this. She invited him to join her to avenge the Empire. The guy liked the proposal, but he was definitely not going to join. The girl immediately realized that the guy was refusing because of his son. Carter was shocked. He wants to know how the girl found out about his son.